Vadim literally breaking down in tears over a panel show, only worth 2.7k views apparently. Well, that's the situation, so that's why it happened. Why have you gone into this whole other tangent? Like, why do you feel the need to do that? My sleep issue, my ADHD, I don't know what's going on. Log off, buddy. Let's do this equation, Vadim. Let's show you're working. Stop with the. Okay, but don't you think? That's not what it means, though, does it, Vadim? It doesn't mean peace and happy fun times for everyone in the region.
Vadim, we've been talking for 3 hours. I don't want to.
So Vadim came on Sunday stream the other night, and I believe he's defending Frogan from the attackers. Defending Frogan.
To decide if their panel's offensive or not, or are we children here?
You know, kind of controversial elements to what they were doing in a tongue-in-cheek way. Yes,
man,
absolutely.
I don't.
What? Stop what?
Stop while you're ahead. Okay, just stop. Stop while you're ahead.
What? Why? What?
It doesn't matter. Just stop while you're ahead. Okay.
Okay, dude. It actually does matter. Like you are. I was interested in talking to you a little bit because it's been a little while since I just kind of checked in with your channel and whatnot. I saw your video talking about Frogan. I figured that we were on the same page. After watching your Frogan video, I watched your debate with Vegan Gains, and I thought you were pretty on point in that. Yeah,
he's a hollow shell of a human being. I don't think he believed anything he was saying or cared to. Not that he. I don't think he believed anything he was saying was false. I just don't think he gave a shit.
And I guess my issue is really this: more than anything, I think that the situation of all of those creators getting a 30-day ban is incredibly concerning. Because I did watch that panel, and I have kind of like, some of these people are creators that I've only recently kind of become familiar with. But, you know, I feel like that situation is incredibly worrying because I think that it was undoubtedly motivated by both Islamophobia. I don't think that anything in that panel was worthy of anyone getting banned. I think that, I mean, I can kind of give you lots of reasons for that.
If I could just jump into this, I'll give you the reasons that I think it was appropriate to ban them under those circumstances, and you can reply to those, and they'll probably move this along a bit faster. Regardless of whether or not you think the intention of the people in that panel was malicious, they engaged in the type of rhetoric that I would not expect a company like Amazon or a company like Twitch to have the fine-grained level of analysis to decide, no, this is actually a benign form of this kind of thing. And I personally don't think it was benign in that way. So, for example, there were statements made like, I would never trust a blue-eyed Arab or stuff like that. There were statements made that highly essentialized Arabs and so on and so forth. There was a weird, like, the whole thing was very...
Essentialized Arabs? So you're saying that they were being racist against Arabs?
In a softer way than someone like Vegan Gains might be, but yeah.
And did you watch the full thing, or are you just going off of clips?
I watched a good chunk of it. And I think the general perception from it for most people watching, like normal people watching, is like, this is weird. This is a weird classification scheme that seems to dip into stuff that veers dangerously, certainly at an aesthetic level, into the realm of like racial essentialization, or identifying people in a way where it's like, it was just very weird. It was very optically bad. And as far as like a 30-day ban is concerned, I can't fathom why anybody would care. That's not.
I mean, it was literally a how Arab are you tier list, where one end was Jewish and the other end was Arab.
A permanent ban. It's like a slap on the wrist.
And that's
like,
what they were doing.
Yeah, but it totally matters when you're talking about. I mean, first of all, I will go into reasons why, multiple reasons why I think that kind of taking that, like well, I'll go into my reasoning as to why the panel itself shouldn't really be viewed that much as problematic. But when you're talking about these Middle, or not Middle Eastern, but Arab creators who are, there's not that much.
Well, how did they classify Kuihman? They classify Kuihman.
What I'm saying is that if they get clapped for something that is not that, like, either not that controversial, not that shitty, and it's already difficult for these creators to sometimes talk about themselves and whatnot sometimes to a certain extent their existence just makes them controversial. I think it sets a really bad precedence, and I think that you had the ADL and the.
Dude, these people have been given every opportunity. Like, they were literally. What do you mean, dude? It says a bad precedent. Well, it says a bad precedent that you can't make Arab tier lists at official Twitch events, at like conventions, on a Twitch panel. I think that's a bad precedent.
Stop.
Oh, no, look. You don't need to sell me on this. Like, I already know for a fact that the reason why these creators were clapped this way was an overcorrection to a bunch of people coming at them for Hassan's statements, for Frogan's statements in particular, and for the weirdness of the panel, which, regardless of your opinion on it, is very difficult to defend. It's a very optically strange thing to do. Like, for example, I'll put this into you. Like, Kuihman, who is actually an Arab creator, was not slotted in the Arab categories up top. I can't remember what the actual tiers were, but I remember it was odd what they did. There were like things there that.
But she like? Did she speak up about this?
It doesn't matter. Like these aren't things that you should be doing as like representatives of a political side. Frogan in particular, like I don't think the panel really was. I think the panel was like an optically weird thing that you could point to. That's like
Kuihman is Arab, isn't she? African. She's like Moroccan or some shit, right?
Like a single instant of like weird behavior that is convenient for people who are critical of all these creators who are involved. But like for example, you had Frogan who was saying, "I hope that veterans get PTSD." Veterans are a protected class in the United States. Whether or not you think that that's a just thing to say, it's like
Moroccans are Arabs.
That's a whole can of worms. I'm totally cool with talking with you about that particular thing, but I think we need to take that kind of as a side conversation from the panel.
Because, I strongly disagree. I think these are all
why?
Because the complaint is not just about a panel. The complaints have been by all the people who are criticizing Twitch. Was of
we've got Vadim crying. We found Vadim crying. Thank you. Oh my god. Thank you. Here we go.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Look, I understand this.
Wait. Let's. So this is about that panel, right? This is about the Hippy Dippy Championship. Let's watch
First of all, I think that she deserves a much larger community than she has. She gets all this shit that personally I don't think she'd get if she was a more typical debate. She's not a bro, but you understand what I mean when I say debate bro. I don't want to misgender her.
Yeah, no.
Dude. I don't want to call Demon a debate bro. It's kind of misgendering. Dude.
And she has, and regardless of whether you like her or not in this situation, all of these kind of like narratives have been spun. And I'm not saying that I think that
Dylan... Vadim. Drop and give me 10, Vadim. Okay, say sorry properly.
Wanted this to happen, but there are all these people after she already has so much to deal with. There are all these people who are calling her a crybaby, which she absolutely was not. I said that I thought that she batted away some tears. That's not being a crybaby. And she didn't do that. So she's not that. A lot of people were calling her a drama whore. I was the one who brought the thing up. She treated the whole thing gracefully. I know that this is a time commitment. And
everyone was like quit now.
But it's like, you know, damage is done because of the fact that like the after like all of that is on Destiny's thing. And to me, what would show a great deal of empathy and character and just you know, it would be so big of him if he decided to make some sort of video. I mean, I can't script it for him, but something to the effect of like afterthoughts on the Hippy Dippy drama. And again, he doesn't have to bring me up at all. Like I don't need to be mentioned. And if he just said like, you know, like I recognize that now that there were, you know, like it was all good fun. We had a good time.
It doesn't sound like it was good fun.
But there were some kind of things that resulted as a course of it. Like I stand by her. I think that she is extremely truthful. I don't think that she was. There are a lot of negative acts.
Yeah, no, I know it may sound like when I say Vadim cried over the Hippy Dippy Championship, I understand that that might inspire some skepticism. Like, I'm sure he got upset, but he didn't really cry, did he? No, he really cried. He cried.
Accusations towards her with this whole thing, and I don't stand by them, and I completely denounce them, and you know, something like that. I'm not going to go on further because like I don't want to try and write this for him, and it's not something that he could do unless it's something that's genuinely in his heart. But I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Look, I understand this.
It really bums me out, man. Like this whole thing just really. I'm sorry. Now I'm gonna get this like crybaby thing. Yeah, okay, yes, I am. I'll admit it. Hey, everybody, Vadim being a crybaby here, but it really bothers me that there are so many people, and I don't think it's all stems from this, but some of it has to do.
How did this only get chud? Less than 3K views. This got chud. Vadim literally breaking down in tears over a panel show. Only worth 2.7K views, apparently.
With her status as an individual. And it fucking sucks, man. I hate seeing this shit. And that's why I'm talking about when I see these
memes celebrating CTV.
Imagine if this was Chud face camera, dude. I guarantee he is fucking laughing his ass off on camera.
Who is funny? He's a funny guy, but he's transphobic as fuck. And celebrating this drunken guy who just like shit all over her. And
he'd like to say the sisters never got to Vadim, but then he cried over Hippy Dippy.
Thank you for the $5.
Just like, just totally, Lily, because she deals with that all the time. Imagine like I just have so many trans friends, and they tell me these stories. I can only begin.
I cry I weep for my trans brothers and sisters. They go through so much. I weep for my trans brothers and sisters. They go through so much oppression every day. And then they come online and Destiny beats them in debate panels.
To comprehend what that's like. And she's one of the toughest people I know when it comes to dealing with that stuff.
Chud's sitting there off camera like, yes. We must support our trans sisters. Yes.
And so I think that there are all these labels, all these things that have already been perpetuated, that this entire like thing has continued to perpetuate. And I don't think that Dylan wants that. I don't think I don't think he considered it. And maybe he's listening to me right now and he's like, dude, this motherfucker's crazy. Like, what? Like these things do not follow. Maybe he thinks that, but just like, it's like, I'll survive. It sucks for me, but like, I just feel like, like, and he also has a right to be angry with me. So if he doesn't want to make it about me, I don't fucking care, but I just wish he'd do something and be a kind friend to her, which I know he cares about her. So that's sure. It. And I'm sorry, I was not expecting to get
Chud consoling him. Okay, mate.
Emotional about it.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Honestly, don't feel bad about it. I understand this has been, an emotional thing for you, so you don't need to apologize. It's not a problem, okay?
Yeah, totally.
I think, what I'd say though is, I think what's really key now is we'll wrap things up, take a moment. If you want to like drop me a DM later, or you want to chat one-on-one offline when I'm off stream, I'll make time to do that, no problem at all.
Dude.
And I think what's really key.
This guy was so gay. If this happened now, he'd be like, "You crying, mate? Like, you fucking crying?"
Is you and Dylan, having a chat one-on-one and really trying to hash some of this stuff out.
Sure. I mean, like, I want to say just real quickly. I'm chiller now. I completely agree with you. I know the chat is bullshit, but there are people who are like, this is why it should have been private. Okay, yeah, maybe some people are going to take advantage of this, but those people are going to be dipshits. They're going to be the equivalents of anti-SJW assholes from 2016. You might as well fly a fucking Kekistan flag in your like if you can't deal with a human being showing some emotion, yes, it's very. You
might as well be a Nazi.
Yeah, I realize that I put a lot out there, but this is who I am, and I'm not.
If you don't care about your trans sisters, you're a Nazi.
I am not ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed of like crying and showing some emotion about things that I care about online. And to any of you people who look at that as a sign of weakness, I think, okay. I was about to be angry, but I'm going to take.
Don't be angry. Look, at the end of the day,
I'm going to take the empathetic route and say, like, I think you guys just need to think things over. There like the idea that guys or just people in general every now and then kind of getting emotionally invested in something and showing it. If you think that is somehow something to be embarrassed about or whatever, then you need to think about that. I imagine most of the people here are good people, and think about it. It's not wrong, and if you think it's wrong, then that's just like, I don't know, not the conversation, but I think it says something about the state of masculinity in the world.
Sure, I agree.
Unbelievable Twitch poll never took off. Yeah, I'm amazed that people who cry over the results of wrestling-themed debate panels somehow didn't manage to make long, fruitful live streaming careers. It's really amazing. How did they not hit it big? Who doesn't want to watch who doesn't want to watch a guy who literally fucking cries over a debate panel that he wasn't even on?
You know, but the other thing I'm thinking as well is I don't, toxic masculinity. Sure, I see where you're coming from. I also just I don't know. I don't want to feel like it's like I'm trying to capitalize on your emotion. You know, because literally we had a chat, and you know, I don't want you to feel like I'm sitting here rubbing my hands together. Oh, look at this drama. Like, yeah, of course. You know, if you're upset about it, I get it, and you know, I want you to not be upset. You know, so
what was that?
Or chat, and you know, I don't want you to feel is on your. Sure, I see where you're coming from. I also just I don't know. I don't want to feel like it's like I'm trying to capitalize on your emotion, you know, because literally we had a chat, and you know, I don't want you to feel like I'm sitting here rubbing my hands together. Oh, look at this drama. Like, yeah, of course, you know, if you're upset about it, I get it, and you know, I want you to not be upset, you know. So, you know, I am there. I'm going to be streaming for a bit longer. I'm going to speak to Demon Mama now, but like certainly later on, if you want to drop, you know, I'll drop you a DM anyway. But if you want to have a chat off stream one-on-one with me or whatever, then by all means we can. And I hope you manage to speak to Demon soon and hash some of this stuff out. You know, I think that'd be really good.
Sure, I want to thank you.
What a psycho.
These creators creating an environment that can be perceived as anti-Semitic, or as making like a safe, good space for anti-Semitism. But more to the point, just very quickly, while also engaging in some like really
hot eyes. I'm going to talk to Demon Mama now. That's Chad. That's Chad. I'm going to go play Apex with Demon Mama now. Heart eyes.
Toxic rhetoric, glorifying like people who are quite likely terrorists or pirates, and so on and so forth. Like that's not good, right?
I'm going to play Apex with Demon Mama and Gooby. What was the name? Glooby? I'm going to play Apex with Demon Mama and Glooby now. Heart eyes.
Yeah. But we're talking about whether or not, I mean, like now, what's central to me is whether or not the ban was appropriate for all of those creators. There were 5 creators in all, maybe 6, who you know, aside from Frogan,
finishing off the Jakub
so you hit your goal.
The Jakub goal. What stream time are we at now? Sometime after the 6-hour mark, we will be switching over to the Tale of Jakub.
So Frogan's, like, you know, statements, she said some things that people take issue with, some of which we can talk about. I'm not here to stand for everything that she's ever said, but those bans that those other people got, I mean, they need to be viewed in a very in just the environment of that particular panel. You know, I mean, like those other people should not be receiving bans for Frogan's previous sins. Okay, like I can understand why maybe that would put more of a of a spotlight on that, and that would justify people saying like, well, let's take a look at this.
Okay, but if I may, like you're talking about a panel in which they rated other creators who are also on Twitch, and they said, are these people Arab enough to say Habibi, or are they people who like Sabra? And they didn't put, for example, like Arab creators on the top. Like there's weird stuff going on there. It's just not a thing you do. Don't racially classify other Twitch streamers, even as a joke.
Well, first of all, Arabs aren't a race. I mean, maybe I'm being a little pedantic there, but they're, you know, they're not a race. I understand what you're saying. Like, it can still.
Okay, well, don't do that with ethnic groups. Then the distinction is going to be lost on.
Actually, being Arabic isn't a race. Dude, what does that change about the point?
Twitch viewers.
Well, right? The thing is that, like you said here, I think this is an important point. So you said some things about like their discussion of Arabs was a little problematic, and I think that actually speaks to why we shouldn't take this panel as seriously. If you watch the panel, the overwhelming majority of, and it's not even like really throughout the entire thing, they are making light of the, you know, because they're, you do know that they're their podcast that they are on, the Arabs podcast.
Well, there are like black Arabs, there are white Arabs, right? Arab isn't really a race. That is true. It's like a, what would you call it? What would you even call being an Arab? What is it? It's like a collection of ethnic groups. It's not an ethnic group on its own though, is it? Really? It's like a collection of ethnic groups. So, or I guess it's an ethnic group and then there's several ethnicities. There's like a collection of different, yeah.
It's kind of, aside from the fact that it talks about other things, it's kind of like meant to explore just what it's like to, you know, what their experiences are.
Well, I don't think ethnicity, I don't think it is an ethnicity, because there's like multiple ethnicities that are Arab ethnicities, right? It's not an individual ethnicity, I think. Yeah, Arab is like Balkan, it's almost more like a geographic thing, yeah.
as Arabs in America and whatnot, and they, it's three different types. One of them's a Jewish Arab. One of them is, I forget what the other ones are, but they represent kind of three different like types. And I guess my point is that like there are jokes where like I forget, like the Capri Sun guy, he there's like one part where he talks about like you know what, I have notes. I should refer to them because I was talking about this the other day, and I am like doing a poor job because of my brain fog of remembering the things, the specifics. But basically, I'm saying that they were more than anything poking fun at Arabs in general. That's like why they put like Nick Merckx at a certain place, because they said that he was really like loud and argumentative and had a mean face. And so like I agree that if some white creators were saying that about Arab creators, that would be incredibly problematic.
Okay, now what if those Arab creators start saying about Jews?
But they are trying to they understand that that there's a lot of stereotypes that they deal with, and
so they can do it to other people.
I'm doing a poor job of explaining this right now, but that was kind of the like conceit of things. Like if you look at the humor,
retard. This guy is retarded.
One part where like a joke was made where one of them said like something like my Twitch is really blowing up, and then one of them made another joke off of like that was had something to do with suicide bombers, and it's a really morbid.
Really, it took you 10 minutes to stammer out suicide bombers there? He was that scared of saying it.
Can you do me a favor, and I have an idea of how we can sort of like streamline this a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Give me the defense for why Twitch in particular, from Twitch's perspective, okay, should not have banned these streamers.
What's that?
From Twitch's perspective, what is a reason why they should not have banned these streamers?
Because there was nothing authentically anti-Semitic or racist about what they were doing. Anything that was controversial within the like slightly controversial was very kind of tongue-in-cheek and kind of very like it's the concept.
Never trust a blue-eyed Arab. That's what they said.
What?
They said never trust. One of them said never trust a blue-eyed Arab. They all laughed at this. That's a weird statement. It's a weird statement for someone at Twitch who's looking at this as a virtual outsider making a judgment call as to what they're going to defend to the general public. People are making me think about it.
Do you think that was made in like that was to be taken 100% seriously? I mean, we have to take a look.
I know that this is a group of people, one among whom is someone who's perfectly fine with wishing that an entire.
What's TB? I thought Slime yapping about.
Thank you for the $5, Jimberly.
Demographic of people suffers from PTSD in the United States. Like it's very difficult to defend. Like this looks bad.
But again, you're taking that like that if that was said in the context of the panel, and certainly if everybody was like, oh yes, I 100% agree with that, then yeah, give them all a ban. But that like again, it's just like
look, if it was just the panel Vadim, like I don't think there would be anywhere near the kind of issue that there is with it right now, because the panel itself is much more ambiguous. But it's in the context of people not just saying that, people saying that October 7th was revolution and that leftists are hypocritical for condemning and so on and so forth.
Do you not think like I 100%.
What's Blood about to say? What is Blood about to say? Vadim, I would consider the next sentence very carefully.
Right now, because the panel itself is much more ambiguous, but it's in the context of people not just saying that, people saying that October 7th was revolution and that leftists are hypocritical for condemning and so on and so forth.
Do you not think like, I 100% believe that severe, horrible war crimes were committed by Hamas on that day. And I'm totally, I would like to see them adjudicated at the ICC, just like the ICJ, just like I want to see Israel tried for war crimes for everything that they've done since then. But that still was ultimately like an act of resistance, right?
We were so close. We were so close. He was so close. That was like so reasonable, and then just failed the QTE. Yeah, press X, press A. Oh my god. Yeah, Sunday's way. It's just like, so yeah, should have been the correct answer is try them for war crimes. Same with Likud and Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir and all this. Yep, agree. It was an act of resistance. No, actually, slaughtering babies and music festival attendees is actually not an act of resistance against an occupying force. That's terrorism. It's like just straight terrorism. Like it's not like they're trying to fuck us and we're fighting back. No, you are just attacking civilians. You're just raping and killing civilians.
I mean, or do you not?
Just because an act of violence is perpetrated by people who come out of a population of oppressed people doesn't mean it's an act of resistance. In this particular case...
Exactly. Yes. It doesn't... Just because they are oppressed doesn't mean that any time they're violent, that's an act of resistance. That doesn't follow.
You're talking about a terrorist organization that has been specifically fostered to be more successful over its rivals in Gaza by the Likud government, specifically so it would do the kind of attack it did and create a pretext for grabbing and controlling and reorganizing huge swaths of land. So like that's not an act of resistance. That was, if anything, an act of malicious compliance with the aim, hopefully, of causing a wider disturbance for Israel and its local relations with surrounding states, to make it do things that would disadvantage it in the long run and possibly destroy it. Like that's what it's about. That's not an act of resistance.
Yeah,
that's something else.
But it wouldn't have happened if there would not be a motivation to have done this in the first place. It's a response to getting thrown into a fucking maybe concentration camp is
that's too simple. That's too simple. I agree with you that what Israel has done to the Palestinian people is inhuman and has been inhuman for a very long period of time. However, it is not sufficient to just say that the conditions of Gaza are responsible for what's happening with Hamas and what Hamas does. Now, Hamas itself is actually a part of the oppressive condition that
it wouldn't be happening otherwise.
Yeah, none of it. If there was no oxygen there and they couldn't breathe, none of it would be happening as well. But we don't say it's oxygen's fault. We don't say it's caused by oxygen, do we? You have to... There are some specific motivators, specific reasons, specific chains of events that have happened to cause something. It's not just, well, that's the situation, so that's why it happened. That's so retarded.
There's a difference, though, between saying that the tendency, for example, for political leaderships among the Palestinians to engage in acts of terror is justified, or their decisions are justified by reference to the situation, and they are endemic because of the situation. So, for example, it is possible that an organization that ascends to leadership amongst...
Kuihman's the kind of person who would have colonized and Nazi babies lived during the occupation of Poland.
Oppressed community also just doesn't have the well-being of that community at heart and has their own interests in mind when they do things that potentially cause immense destruction for other people. So in which case, valorizing what Hamas does in any way isn't actually in the interest of the Palestinian people, or is even being on the side of the Palestinian people. That's assuming an essential identity between any criminal element that happens to ascend among an oppressed people and that people themselves. And I think that's a mistake. I think it's a big mistake.
I think you can discuss or think of the act that they perpetrated as an act of resistance without valorizing them. I mean, or not valorizing certainly.
Disagree. I think as soon as you're talking about an act of
it's an act of resistance, as if resistance, and there's something being done to them, and they're trying to stop it. That's what you're saying. That is okay.
The resistance, obviously it's an act of conflict and friction. Obviously, it's one force doing damage to a community that's attached to another force. But to say it's an act of resistance is immediately to say that what they are doing has to be explained solely in terms of the oppression that's done to them. But I think that's wrong.
Yeah,
because I think.
I mean, look.
Yes.
Do you think that if I don't know? I mean, I just think that we are all kind of kidding ourselves if we assume that if most human beings were treated had been subject to that awful treatment, there's going to. I mean, I'm sure you know about slave rebellions and things like that.
Yes.
I mean, it's just there's. It's not a. You don't have to be okay with the the kind of the horrible violence that they commit.
What? Why do you have to? Okay, what he's saying here is that that things like this are an inevitability when you treat people like this. I don't think anyone disagrees with that, but that doesn't mean it's an act of resistance. It's a predictable. It's a a likely outcome, a predictable outcome. But it's not an act of resistance. You can describe this issue without describing it as a good thing, but you're insistent on describing it as a good thing because my heckin' wholesome brown people, my heckin' wholesome poor Gazans.
But it's still.
But you do, though, because what you're arguing for essentially is a kind of acceptance of their violence on the grounds that it is triggered by an equal or even greater amount of violence done to the Palestinian people.
It is a greater amount of violence in terms of.
No one disagrees. No one thinks more Israelis are dying than Palestinians. No one thinks that. Everyone knows. As Nick Fuentes said, here are the rules. Israel bombs you. You do nothing.
The overall
not to the raped and the dead. It's not. To those people, it's as bad as it gets. We can't pad out the severity of this just by recourse to the larger numbers.
Well, first of all, are you do you hold the opinion that rape was used as a weapon of war, that it was like a widespread kind of, I forget the kind of term that has been used.
It's kind of, I'm kind of indifferent to whether or not it took place then or after they were in captivity, and we've heard that it happens when they're in captivity. So as far as I'm concerned, great if they didn't when they were also slaughtering a whole bunch of people, but not really a kind of cold comfort in the long run when these people are also being abused after they're held captive, right? So
well, okay, we have one piece of testimony to that, as far as I know. And first of all, I should say, just to, like my take on this is that I imagine there was some rape that occurred, or maybe not rape, but sexual violence that occurred in the absolute, carnage that occurred on that day. But, I mean, have you read either the article in the UK Times or the one that was...
I'm quite sure I can't remember. I'm just trying to get a grasp of what the stakes are here exactly. So very, very quick.
The reason why I care is because, if you look at those, I assure you that if you actually read the article that was written in The Intercept on the matter, or from the Times, you would be absolutely convinced that the accounts that have been given in, say, like the New York Times piece...
Okay, look, hang on, please. Just for a second, just before we go down this rabbit hole. How does the affirmative or the negative stance on whether rape was used as a weapon on October 7th change how we talk about October 7th?
Oh, it's incredibly important because of the fact that has and continues to be weaponized false accounts.
I understand it's been weaponized, but my question, though, is as far as you and I are talking...
Oh, did I cut you off? I'm sorry. I thought that you had finished your question.
Well, I'm just clarifying. My apologies. So in terms of how you and I are discussing this, how does it change how we're talking about it? I understand. Also,
he accepts there was sexual violence. There was rape and or sexual violence on that day. You can bicker about, okay, well, this is just a testimony. There's no evidence for this. This person maybe wasn't even here on that day in this individual account. You can argue about any individual account, but you saying, well, a bunch of these Jewish women lied, that doesn't dispel the point.
All sorts of things are used as rhetorical tools elsewhere, okay? Being in the dark, I don't know how on earth we would actually confirm this, about what specifically happened to those people on October 7th. How does it affect how you and I are talking about it? We both agree that there was immense carnage done to a whole lot of innocent people. How does that specifically change it? Like, if I noticed, for example, that we're not talking about, like, the styles of killing people.
You just brought that up, and it's it's just been there've been an incredible amount of false, just as false as the fucking 40 beheaded babies things having to do with with sexual assault and rape. That by the way, is it better for me to say SA or something for I don't
care.
Wait, wasn't the 40 beheaded babies thing literally like a Biden misspeak? It was 40 dead and there was like a beheaded baby or something, right?
If you want to say SA, that's fine.
No, I just... It might
be better for the algorithm, but I don't take... Okay, cool. I don't worry about that.
It has been used to manufacture consent and absolutely just, it's a trial.
Yeah, there was no one really, I've heard the 40 beheaded babies claim. I've heard that debunked more than I ever heard it seriously claimed. Yeah, 40 dead and a beheaded baby got turned into 40 beheaded babies. Yeah. No, I think Biden said 40 babies by mistake, I think.
Atrocity propaganda, the overwhelming majority of the claims. And as for the one claim that we have of the woman in captivity, that very well may have happened, but it's a little strange because she came back from captivity and...
Oh, doesn't believe women. Vadim doesn't believe women.
Captivity, that very well may have happened, but it's a little strange because she came back from captivity and that was the story that she eventually gave in, I think, I forget the name of the follow-up to Screams Without Words. There was another New York Times article. Her story at first was far different. She didn't mention any of that when she first came back. And that one story is really the only firsthand story that we have from...
What strange logic to be hearing from a guy like this. She didn't relay the worst details when she first got back, so she's probably lying. This is a lefty, trans defender, believe women type saying this. This is crazy.
Someone who, we have a name to who has given any testimony.
Okay, so she's lying.
And no, I think that we have to...
Okay, but why would you bother saying it's a little weird unless you're implying...
Just say you hate Jews. Just say it. People like this, I'm feeling anti-Semitic vibes. Because why the fuck would you believe everyone except these people?
Isn't Vadim the guy who cried over Destiny winning a hippy-dippy slot contest against Demon Mama?
If you roll the VOD back...
Demon Mama and disappearing, we are in November and Red Pagan Corner is still hope. My prediction for Red Pagan earlier in January comes true.
Okay. That was a rollercoaster. I didn't know where that was going. I was worried about TOS there. Okay. It immediately makes me feel like people like anti-Semites. Because it's just like, Why the fuck do you have such like clear standards for everyone? But then the moment it's Jews, literally like Jews being killed, Jews being raped, you're like, well, I don't, I'm not entirely sure about all this. I don't know if I care about that too much.
That she's not telling the truth.
Well, I'm saying that I think we should be skeptical. The fact of the matter is that they said on the first day that or not the first day, but somewhere close to the first day, that they had literally thousands of pictures that showed, or thousands of pieces of evidence, and I think maybe thousands of pictures that kind of captured.
Okay, let me put it this way. Let me put it this way, please. Let me just say, when you're talking about a criminal organization that is known for extreme acts of violence against its own people and against other people, that is involved in all sorts of things like drug running and whatnot, I would be not willing to place a lot of money down that they were completely above board in how they treated civilians, especially when we already they're willing to slaughter them. They're already willing to slaughter them, and how they treat civilians that they kill or capture. I just wouldn't.
They were monsters on that day.
Have a lot of faith in that. Now,
well, I'll tell you why I have I mean, first of all, most of the captives who have been returned none of them have said like it was like be at the Hilton, and like none of them like said that it was amazing. But the overwhelming majority of people who have come out have said like, yeah, I was treated okay. I have no problem believing that maybe because the particular thing that she said occurred with one other person. But I'm just saying, like, the reason why I say that we have to have skepticism is because there have been so many exceptionally huge lies told by them in relation to these things. I will give you links to some documentaries and articles that I want you to check out.
Oh yeah, he's got some documentaries. The greatest story never told.
Because it's like it's like they also publicized interviews with people who, like that woman who said that she saw someone cut off a human breast and then they started kicking it around like.
Okay. Look. I get it. What? I get it. But like, Jesus, man, like, okay. That
was garbage, right?
Excuse me.
That particular interview has been completely garbage.
Okay. Just calm down. I don't know what your point is here. Like, yeah, people make exaggerated stories, but that isn't a byway of saying that therefore one person's account of being sexually abused by a gang of political radicals by a gang of men with guns who are mowing down civilians is a lie. Like, I don't know why you would go that way. And there's a difference between being skeptical. Okay, there's a difference between going, okay, I'm going to hold this information in reserve as not a definitive characterization of how these people are operating, and going, well, that's a little weird because the one is inflecting this with, excuse me?
Okay. First of all, let me say one thing. There's no doubt that, like, what they did on October 7th was fucking horrible. It's absolute atrocities. And I would 1000%, I mean, I'm a survivor myself. I would absolutely in a heartbeat be okay with like, just kind of standing behind the accounts that I've heard. But there's an entire article of accounts that have completely been debunked and shown to be absolute bullshit.
Wait, okay. What does this have to do with me?
Well, I guess it has to do with the fact that when you made that statement,
the statement of people who were raped and killed, that was a really bad thing that happened to them. We have people who were released that give accounts of sexual assault. That's a thing. So I'm willing to run with that. First of all, because they were. Excuse me.
We have one account from a person who, when
I haven't verified that, but I'm going to run with that one account being true because they were willing to mow down other people as well. Okay, so like at that point, it's like, I'm sorry, they would never. Like, why would you believe that? That's silly.
But no. Do not, dude. I have no problem believing that sexual violence could occur. I'm talking about the actual evidence and accounts that we actually have right now. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the evidence for them. And
have you ever heard of a military that has taken captives that has not had like abuse of those captives like been an issue, like just as a general rule? Because I can't think of any. Honestly,
that's exactly what I'm saying. You're kind of like arguing with me about things that I like. As far as I'm concerned, when there are like men and guns in like hostile wars type situations, there's just about always going to be some sexual assault. Yes, and I said this before. And
then why are we even entertaining the idea that this person's report of being sexually assaulted is a little bit weird? Why are we doing that? Why are we bothering with this?
Why are you jumping into it when you're trying to talk about Frogan? Why have you just jumped? Why have you had to go on a whole side tangent about how you don't believe this ex-Israeli hostage was raped while she was captured by Hamas? Why have you gone into this whole other tangent? Like, why do you feel the need to do that?
Because one, she came back into captivity. She told a different story. And then months later, after they had been actually like failing to substantiate any of these these claims.
How would you substantiate them? She was in captivity in a different place. What would she have? Video evidence? Like, what was she supposed to do?
No. Well, I mean, look, it's possible. What I'm saying.
Somebody was being facetious. Yeah, she should have videoed being raped. She should have videoed being raped, dude.
Is that like when we know that they put forward so many fucking lies and they put so many fucking lies out there in order to gin up support for their fucking genocide,
hard.
Then
this guy's wild.
After that has been substantially the case, then we should be like, so when someone gives an account and they change their story. Come on, man, they change their I'm not.
Okay, Vadim, listen to me.
I don't even say, when I'm doing rape reviews, I don't even talk like this. Like, just hearing that a story has changed, and you're like, oh, really? Change a story? Like, you should be open to, okay, well, maybe there's details that you weren't citing for some reason at an earlier point. If there's specific contradictions that don't make any sense, then that's worth pressing on. But just to be like, oh, well, you didn't say that before. You didn't say that before. Bro, what a weird thing to say about someone who got raped.
Okay, Vadim, first of all, people who are recognized by judges as being victims of sexual assault historically often change their story.
All the time. And sometimes in some cases.
I'm not done. Okay. The fact that the Israeli government and the IDF is notorious for making fake stories about the debauchedness of the populations they're genociding is not a byway for saying that terrorist groups that also engage in violence against civilians have therefore done nothing. And it is also not a byway for giving them the benefit of the doubt when this has kind of been known about them for a long time. Like that, I just don't know why you're so caught up on this. Like, this doesn't matter.
I'm caught up on it only because I think that you are kind of, like, I got the impression that you are kind of casually when it is like what am I trying to say here? I'm sorry.
Right.
Let me take a moment and think. The reason why maybe I kind of dug into this is because if we kind of casually,
he would not say this about any other type of person, but it's because they're Israelis, they're Zionists.
Just like people casually drop the accusations of rape all the time, and usually when people do that, like, it's a way of kind of and I'm not saying that this is your intention, but often people who talk about this whole thing, they kind of drop that deliberately because they know that there are all these beliefs that just tons of mass rapes, and that it was used as a systematic weapon, that they basically went into this saying like, hey, let's rape everybody, okay? The
opinion of the UN is that they have convincing evidence that sexual violence, including rape, etc., was used during the attack, and there's reasonable grounds to believe such violence may be ongoing. Like, I don't against those categories. So
if you look at other parts of that, they actually, like, there is more to it, and they basically say that they can't. That the bottom line is that they don't have the evidence to substantiate it.
Well, again, like, how would you? You're going to be going off of victim reports or off of inferences about the nature of what they did, so on and so forth. Like,
I think that you really need to read the Intercept article that I'm talking about. You need to. This is like Jeremy Scahill. This is like some of the best reporting that's been done over the course of the past year. On top of that, the Times, which is much more kind of it's actually extraordinarily right-leaning and has a great deal of Israeli support in terms of.
No, I've already gone through this stuff months ago on this channel. Like, I'm aware of the fact that there were problems with how they were getting the information about it. However, what we have is an organization that has a long history of doing extreme violence against civilians. Didn't act extreme violence against
Zionist. Simple.
Thank you for the $5. Thank you.
Civilians. We have reports of some of them who were hostages that they were sexually assaulted, or at the very least one. I'll have to confirm that there was more than one. One is enough for me. There's literally no reason to die on this hill, Vadim. Like, it doesn't help you.
What I'm trying to do is that I'm trying not to spread atrocity propaganda so that people can, like, it is
just remember, though, we're talking about this because I said that Twitch probably had just reason or was responding to something that was wider than just the panel, because it also included people like Frogan valorizing October 7th, which is widely understood. Let's run with that. It is widely understood and will be understood by Twitch to be an act of terror involving rape and murder. Okay? So from their vantage, why on earth wouldn't they make the ban?
Because why would they ban the other five people? Like that one. I mean, first of all, that statement didn't occur on Twitch.
So what?
What you're doing, it's very transparent that you are kind of making, like, these other people, holding them accountable for just interacting with this person. Even if I give you and to tell you the truth, I'm not, like, I do not stand behind what she said necessarily. I mean, what did she say? Like what was it?
Frogan?
Yeah,
she had a photo of the devastation on October 7th, and she said leftists will say they want a real revolution, but then when one happens, they complain or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd have to see it in context. That sounds pretty.
The context
pretty
is this was on October 7th. This is while this was going down, right?
Yeah, that sounds pretty shitty. I certainly like when I came in here, I said that I don't I'm not here to.
Okay, so just very quickly. So imagine that the argument against Twitch is not that this one particular panel is really bad, but that this one particular panel had a lot of weirdly racial classificatory things going on about it to your average untrained eye. And the complaint is that there is a general culture or a general atmosphere of certain types of behavior that are unacceptable on Twitch or on most platforms being made acceptable by these particular creators and how they talk about and treat these particular issues and what sides they take on particular conflicts and so on and so forth. Like, why on earth would Twitch stand up to defend this? Twitch is not like Twitch is a video hosting site, right?
Okay, I'm just reading this. All right, obviously this is from some fucking Jewish org, but I'm not sure about this Intercept article, right? The Intercept hit a dismal new low in February with the publication of Between the Hammer and Anvil, the story behind the New York Times October 7th expose, which is the one that he's talking about. Along with Grimm and Scahill, the byline features Prem Thacker. The ostensible focus is a set of shortcomings in the Times screams without words how Hamas weaponized sexual violence on October 7th. The real target, however, is the underlying allegation that Hamas committed systematic rape during its October 7th rampage. Put simply, the piece all but outright denies that these mass rapes occurred, blaming the allegation on an Israeli government conspiracy. Because it's part of a broader conspiracist effort to conceal the extent of Hamas's sexual violence, it's worth exposing how the article unravels. Both the Times and the Intercept begin with the image of 34-year-old Gal Abdush, the woman in the black dress, a mother of two, whose body was found near the remains of the Nova Music Festival. According to the Intercept, video of her charred body appeared to show her bottomless. The word appeared is telling. Then there is a striking bit of legerdemain? Legerdemain? I don't know. The woman who filmed Abdush on October 7th told the Israeli site Ynet that Times reporter Schultz and Seller had pressured her into giving paper access to her photos and videos for the purposes of serving Israeli propaganda. Yet the woman, Eden Vesley, did not say this and never used the word propaganda. The Intercept quotes Vesley as saying, "They called me again and again and explained how important it is to Israeli Hasbara." Vesley then used the Hebrew word Hasbara, not propaganda. How then does the Intercept explain its replacement of this word with an inflammatory insinuation? The authors gloss Hasbara as the term for public diplomacy, which in practice refers to Israeli propaganda efforts directed at international audiences. This is a tendentious translation at best. The idea that Hasbara is code for propaganda is a staple of anti-Israel conspiracy theories. In reality, it simply refers to the normal public diplomacy conducted by every nation in the world. This diplomacy is particularly important for Israel because it's been beset by orchestrated propaganda campaigns and scurrilous conspiracy theories for decades. The Intercept article is a fine case in point. Things get worse from there. The Intercept misrepresents Vesley's remarks to an extent that has to be seen to be believed. In the linked interview, Vesley states in full, "They called me again and again. They explained how important it is to Israeli Hasbara. They were really invested in it. It was important for them to know every detail. And I understood from that this was vital visual evidence relevant to the sex crimes committed on October 7th. That's why they were clinging so much to my testimony. When I saw that, I said, well, I'll help them. The whole world will know." The Intercept's strategic editing of this statement is so grossly disingenuous, it is impossible to believe it is not a deliberate misrepresentation. So did they cut off this whole bit at the end here? When I saw that, I said, well, I'll help them. The whole world will know. That's insane. Like, they're presenting it as though this woman's like, oh yeah, that Ynet were forcing me to give over this stuff for propaganda, when in reality she was saying, they told me how important it was for my country, and I recognized that they needed this to prove that Hamas were raping people, so I knew it was the right thing to do. Grimm and crew believe that if they can cast doubt on the fact that Hamas terrorists raped Abdush, they can cast doubt on claims that Hamas raped anyone. Grimm and crew know that explicitly denying the claims will make them sound unhinged, so they hedge by saying, the question has never been whether individual acts of sexual assault may have occurred on October 7th. Rape is not uncommon in war. There's a tremendous amount of to unpack in the statement. First, October 7th was not war. Premeditated mass slaughter. Hamas terrorists filmed their atrocities. Hamas terrorists have openly admitted they use rape as a weapon. One captured terrorist spoke in a videotaped interrogation of raping children to dirty them. The mindset would explain, to the extent that it can be explained, the documented instance of necrophilia, which a UN report has corroborated. Grimm and crew naturally shy away from the necrophilia allegations. This is written like a commentary video at the end there. shy away from the necrophilia allegations. Hello, face of the necrophilia allegations. The Intercepts claim that the question has never been about individual sexual assaults is also nonsense. Rumors on the Hill's Rising show. Oh, yeah, Ryan Grimm. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so fuck Vadim. Fuck Vadim. This guy is a total anti-Semite loser, just pushing conspiracy shit. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. Fuck this loser.
The panel. These are people who are just like sitting around having a fun time. There is no genuine. There's no genuine hate or even like masked.
I hope this was done on Twitch. I hope veterans get PTSD. That's hate.
But you keep bringing this up as though.
Yeah, you're saying the Islamic perspective, while graping hostages permitted, what a beautiful and peaceful religion. But on the other side, Israelis also protested because they didn't want limits on the torture techniques that could be used against their prisoners, which included rape, right? So it's not all about Islam, is it really?
It was a part of the panel. There are 5 other people who got a
because
ban.
They weren't just responding to the panel; they were responding to like people in general engaging in this kind of thing. Like
and then why didn't she get that ban on her own? She didn't.
Must be the area.
You had groups who weaponize, who blur the line.
Okay, so never hang on. So the panel is a thing that all of the members on it are participating in, right? Somebody made the list, and they're classifying other streamers according to an ethnic category. Like that's enough. Like bluntly, this was so stupid of them to do.
Dude. Yeah. On every single tier that they had, there were a multitude of races and religions and types of people.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Do you like?
It doesn't matter. None of this matters.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. As far as Twitch is concerned.
Because it's not. But then it's not a racial tier
because
list.
I'm going to explain why, Vadim. Because God up above is not going to make the people who technically didn't do anything wrong win. You're on a platform owned by parties that do not have your interests or the things you care about at heart. Okay? And so when you go on there and you do things that are so easily spun, if indeed they have to be spun at all, as being hateful or bigoted or racially prejudiced or doing rape or murder apologia, especially under current conditions, like, why would you expect that anyone would protect you for this?
In an applesauce tier. It could have been a fucking applesauce tier that people would have found a way to make it incredibly problematic. That's like it's just like that's kind of like we would not hold other people to most other groups to this standard. And like again, if you watch it, there are people like in every single category. Like some of their best friends were on the lower category. Both Mike from PA and the producer of the show was on the bottom category. The producer is a really good friend of theirs, and it was. I mean, they weren't like there in some sort. What do you mean it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Why does it matter? Why does it matter?
You have to look at it practically.
No, hang on. What this all amounts to?
This guy is such a fucking pathetic rat, man. Fuck Vadim. I'm glad Sunday's getting props from other lefty types for the way he talks about Israel-Palestine. Just saw a comment there. I feel like I remember Sunday being a bit, a bit more Hamas piker at the start of the conflict. I feel like he was a bit more, he was ready to take on Destiny. I felt, well, he wasn't ready to. He kind of backed off of that. But I feel like he was way more oppositional. And as it's gone on, he's got a pretty good take, I think. I haven't heard anything that I particularly disagree with him on. So
any support sort of like genuine either animosity or genuine racism going on here.
Look, like, what this all amounts to is that you think that somebody looking at it who knew what they were talking about and knew what they were seeing wouldn't have banned them for the reason that they gave. Okay, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, get over that. It doesn't matter. Okay, we do not own that platform. We don't make the judgment calls. When we are engaging on these things, we need to play minimally smart or else we'll get eaten alive. And frankly, they did. And frankly, I'm glad they were quickly, because if we have people that stupid who are representing us to the largest number possible, that's bad for the rest of us.
I think that one, this creates like a situation where we're like kind of expecting them to be a perfect victim. They were making
they aren't victims. These are Twitch streamers.
They're absolutely victims.
They're at TwitchCon, sitting on a stage laughing about Ethan Klein, Lake, and Saber. That's not. They're not victims, dude. I'm sorry.
But what do you mean? Like, why does it matter that they were laughing? Is that the only clip that you saw?
Excuse me? No, it's not the only clip that I saw. That's one that stuck out in my head.
I mean,
that was memorable. It's like, ooh, this looks really fucking bad. I wish they hadn't done this.
I will say this. It's very easy to be reductive about the panel and kind of like just present it in a very like obtuse, like very like simplistic way and kind of just
President Sinwar.
I mean, that it is very easy to do that and then kind of like derive just like, I mean, people have talked about this, like these people are bloodthirsty in their racism. And it's just like, if you watch it, it's a fucking crock.
Okay.
That's
all right. Okay, let's move on from the panel, okay? Let's pretend the panel didn't happen.
Well,
let's pretend the panel didn't happen.
But the panel is, okay.
Let's change keys. I want to change keys entirely.
What?
Let's pretend the panel didn't happen. All right. Let's pretend the panel didn't happen. Can we do that?
Well, but the panel did happen.
Yes, but let's pretend it didn't.
And my point, what I would hope that if you actually watch it, if we watched it together, maybe we could do that.
Oh my God.
That you would, I think that if most sensible people watch it, they will not like all the way through, not just like.
I've seen sensible people watch it that came to the same conclusion I did. Okay. Like I've very sensible people. This is not. I've watched it already. I'm not doing it again. It looked really bad.
Racist enough to, oh my God, man.
What?
Like,
sorry, say again, I didn't catch that. What about racist? What?
You thought that it was racist, like that it was.
Yeah, I thought it was racially essentializing towards Arabs. I think the bare fact that there were Arabs on the panel is sort of immaterial. I think they classified people who were actually Arabs as non-Arabs on the basis of whatever. They made statements like never trust an Arab with blue eyes. Like as far as like a person who's administrating,
it's a racial tier list. It's a fucking racial tier list.
The site whose concern is for the situation of the site. I don't see any reason whatsoever why they would give the panelists the benefit of the doubt. They're making them look terrible and they're making Twitch look terrible. Like this is a stupid decision by them. I don't know the state of their souls if they're secret, if they actually like believe any of this stuff seriously or whatever, or if there's a more benign spin on this. It doesn't matter. Like these people are.
No, it's not Mildred. It's not Mildred. He does look like Mildred, but it's not Mildred. This is Vadim. This is the guy who cried on Chud's stream after Destiny beat Demon One. We're on the Hippy Dippy. This is Vadim, who used to run the channel CreationistCat.
You're contributing. I think you are contributing to the just Islamophobia because you're taking this very like one-sided view of a
Islamophobia. What?
You didn't watch all of.
Slow down. What do you mean Islamophobia? What do you mean?
I don't think you are like trying to do it. I don't think that you're probably a particularly extremely Islamophobic person in your private life. But I think in this this situation, by anyone who is taking this and is taking it seriously, the idea that these people were that this was some sort of like.
I think Asmongold should have been permanently banned for what he said. Just to be clear.
Okay, well...
Okay, I'm sorry, you're accusing me of Islamophobia. Explain. Stop rambling for a sec, please.
This is entirely different things, light years apart from one another.
Let's pretend the panel didn't happen. I was going somewhere else, okay? Let's pretend the panel didn't...
I mean, there is absolutely a reasonable argument that Asmongold should have been permanently banned for what he said. He did say he was going crazy.
Didn't happen, okay? And everybody else wasn't banned. But they banned Frogan and they banned Hassan, okay? For the same accusations, they were engaging in hatred against X, Y, and Z people, or glorifying the attacks of October 7th, and or promoting terrorists on their channel. Acceptable or not? Just those ones. Everybody else is left off, okay? Panel didn't happen. It's just those two, Frogan and Hassan.
I would find that far more acceptable, yeah, because I think there's definitely much better arguments for them receiving bans than for that one particular panel. But
okay, so we have the guy, I can't remember his name. I don't know
but okay, so now here's where we can talk about the statement that she made about vets. So she immediately couched it when she made the statement that she did. She went back and she said maybe like 30, 40 seconds into it, the people who serve and regret fighting in unjust wars. I am paraphrasing her a bit here because I don't know exactly what she said, but she did say that. So I mean,
so what? So what? Why is that better? Explain this to me.
Well, I mean, do you think that if she had said that first, that it would have been okay, or do you think that I guess you don't?
Human beings are products of their environment, and the chance encounters they have in their life, they're dictated by no person. So to say that you wish that people who haven't had the fortune to have the particular encounters in their life that would make them register or reflect on the nature of the thing they were a participant of, and therefore see that it was bad, you wish for all of those people to be made into worse and damaged and more hopeless and more ill, and in some cases more violent and abusive people, or people who aren't able to take care of themselves. You wish for these,
and why maybe
on that basis, that's fine to you.
No, that's
what PTSD is.
No, I think you're using very manipulative wording here, dude. I think that if somebody comes back from war and realizes that they were, that what they were engaging in was unjust, then that's totally fine. But that's who she was speaking to. You saw her
she looked like a mean girl going, yeah, I hope they get PTSD. That's the exact tone.
Right. I'm talking about here. Let me find her clarification. And
I don't care about her clarification. So what happened was she realized after the fact she fucked up, she's getting in a lot of trouble, and she tried to do damage control.
Look, I will grant you that and when I'm talking about her clarification, I'm talking about the tweet that she posted afterwards. And what I was about to say when I said I will grant you is that I will grant you that she should be held responsible for what she said on the platform, and a clarifying thing like this does not erase that. So, but I do want to read you what she said because I just want to know what you think of it. Okay, give me 2 seconds while I find it.
The Frogan cope,
because
so this will be amazing.
Okay, here we go. You know that one of the members of the panel was Jewish, right?
Why does that matter? Who cares?
I'm just wondering if
some of the members were.
Sunday didn't even. I don't even think he said that it was an anti-Semitic panel. He said it was racially essentializing towards Arabs.
Arab too, but I also said it had anti-Arab sentiment. I don't know why on earth I would, not anti-Arab sentiment, that it was racially essentializing of Arabs. Why would it matter if somebody's Jewish in the panel? I don't care.
It would matter a bit in terms of the accusations of like Sabra.
Who said that matters?
How?
Bro,
when you say it matters, what do you mean? Do you mean it matters to you? Because that doesn't matter.
I'm trying to make just a little light conversation while I find something here.
Okay.
No, you're not.
Well, you mean the argument is like conversation.
Pussy.
So. Okay,
Loser.
sorry. Okay, here we go.
I fucking hate this guy. Holy shit, this guy's so fucking gay.
Let me put this to you. If there was a panel that was essentializing of black people, Candace Owens was on it, would that be cool? No, of course not. Let's not even entertain it this time.
But they were only essentializing themselves. That's all they were doing.
Well, if Candace Owens would be essentializing herself, would it be okay then?
Yeah, I think that people have that,
really?
You know, like it's totally that we like understand, like that's why like it's okay for like say like black people to use the N-word. They can talk about their own.
Okay, hang on, slow down, Cowboy. There's a difference though between people
It's not just using the N-word as a term of endearment, is it? It would be like saying, it would be like if a black person said, "Oh yeah, I like black people. I don't like It would be like that. It would be more like that. Like you would still, that would still be a racist, but that would still be racist to say that.
Using the N-word if it's they're within the racial category that's being identified by that slur and they're using it in a particular way, and somebody essentializing that whole category person in a way that's potentially derogatory, etc., to in a mixed audience and to a mixed audience. So you don't have that intercommunity.
It's a word for it as a character in Boondocks. True.
Thing
so true.
To justify the intra-community thing to justify it, right? Like that's different. That's a significantly different thing. This is why, for example, people will not say, for instance, that someone like Thomas Sowell is not engaging in racism, even though he's black, or Candace Owens is not engaging in racism, even though she's black.
The that they were doing was just it was all about like, you know, they were recognizing stereotypes that occur within their community and just making jokes off of them. And it's like, if you want to make the case that they were being like ridiculously racist against their own group, you can go ahead and do that.
No, I think they were just making racially essentializing comments. I don't think it's the kind of thing that you should be making when you're relying on the goodwill of a platform that has advertisers and is vulnerable to other people attacking them on those grounds.
Just the fact that you heard that line about the like blue-eyed Arabs, and you think that was made in like as though they were all like.
It doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter.
Like, should we not give people?
It's Sunday. It's so base.
People who, especially people who hardly have a chance to, I mean, the Middle Eastern community.
What do you mean hardly have a chance? Frogan, Capri Sun Puppy, that Raffi or whatever the fuck his name is, the self-hating Jay. These people have been given 1,000-fold, 1,000,000-fold more chances than any normal person, any white person, any Jew on Twitch, any black person on Twitch. They have been handed the fucking world. They've been handed the absolute fucking world, everything. They've been given appearances at huge shows despite having no viewers. They've been shielded by Hassan. They've been on the front page. They've been given everything.
The Arab community has less representation.
We aren't doing jack. We don't own Twitch.
Their experience,
Vadim,
in terms of their experience, what?
We aren't doing jack. We don't own Twitch. So as far as these people are concerned, they made a judgment call to start making racially essentializing comments on there, to like start classifying other Twitch streamers according to Arab coded or like Sabra, etc., etc. That's going to look really bad. Twitch has no basis to defend them. They're not going to. Okay, all of this is sort of hinged on the idea that they're being banned as like a matter of policy that we've implemented. This is a private company.
If you had a panel of any other, if you had like, there are all kinds of jokes that if a member of the community is making them, we hear them, and like for instance, like there's a lot of gay.
Well, Kai Cenat wasn't being put up on fucking TwitchCon stage to get popular, was he? Like the idea, oh my hecking brown people, my hecking brown people. I have to let them say whatever they want because they're so freaking oppressed. My hecking brown people. These are the most privileged people on the platform, literally the most privileged, and they are still worthless.
Gay stereotypes that sound really sometimes kind of dicey if like straight dudes like ourselves start talking about it, but in the context, but if like a gay like podcast is talking about those things, we kind of understand that they are just
Raffi is an Uncle Shlomo
kind of talk, that they're not actually essentializing themselves. Like, I mean, you must know what I'm talking about here. I'm sorry I can't come up with a good example here, but we allow people to talk about their own community in ways that kind of recognize both the stereotypes and all this, and that's really all they were doing. I mean, I think it's like the blue-eyed thing that you just said. Like, it sounds like you genuinely believe that there was racist animus in that.
No,
in statements like
I don't think there was. I don't think there was racist animus there. But I'm telling you, I'm trying. I'm trying to explain this as clearly as possible, is that it doesn't matter if a reasonable onlooker can still see racial essentialization, see that it's causing a lot of trouble for a lot of people who are very loudly complaining about it, and then in this context, and then this is in the context of several of the major creators involved or involved with the people involved. Please, hang on, let me finish the sentence. Let me finish the sentence first, please. I was about to finish my sentence. Can I finish my sentence? Then we can.
Yeah, but then you'll just have to say it again because
because I'm going to have said it already.
But I will not have understood it. That's why I'm asking you to repeat yourself.
All right, go on.
I just want you to start that again because I kind of something kind of caught my attention and I just kind of like again I have severe brain fog due to my sleep issue and also ADD, so sometimes I kind of like tune out without realizing it. I apologize. I didn't I'm not trying to step over you. So can you just take that again and I'm going to listen.
Stop reading chat.
Right. Actual mess. I have brain fog because it's my sleep issue and my ADHD. I don't know what's going on. Oh my god.
Okay.
I'm not reading
Take
chat.
a nap, Vadim.
So
I don't have chat up. I'm sure that I would be responding to it if I did. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Log off, buddy.
Twitch is a company. Okay. Twitch is a company that hosts streams and video clips or VODs or whatever. There are people on that platform with very large audiences and some not so large audiences who have done things like referred to someone who is widely speculated to be a Houthi or not Houthi person engaged in piracy, who has talked about how he's interacted with hostages and whatnot, as being like Luffy from One Piece and like being Anne Frank, most recently to Asmongold. Okay, let's set that aside. We've had other people like Frogan who were connected with those people who have glorified a active mass murder on October 7th, etc., and have made statements of a deeply offensive variety towards a protected class in the United States. All right, regardless of whether or not I agree with their condemnation of the excessive violence being done by the IDF against the Gazans and the horrible treatment of the Palestinian people for the last 100 years, Twitch being faced with a flood of accusations against the atmosphere that these people have fostered amongst themselves, which is permissive of particular kinds of anti-Semitic statements under the guise of anti-Zionism or critique of Israel-specific actions over the past year and farther. Whether or not that's true, they do not have a basis for defending this, and they don't have a reason for defending this. So hang on, I'm not done.
It's so fucking crazy that you keep.
I'm not done. I'm not done though. But I'd like to finish my sentence. Can I please?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. And then in conjunction with this, you have a panel of most of the same people classifying people on the basis of their support for Israel along an ethnic line. As Arab-coded or not Arab-coded, or Sabra, or whatever, and making statements like that. What you end up with is a situation in which Twitch has no leg to stand on in terms of defending them. They can't do it. Not because somebody else can't intellectually make a better case for them, possibly. I think in the case of Frogan, you're fighting a losing battle. I think in the case of Hassan, you're fighting a losing battle. But okay, maybe it was more benign than that. It doesn't matter. They sowed the seeds that allowed themselves to be removed from the platform with God's blessing in the eyes of the world. So it doesn't matter. And I, for one, am very happy that they're gone. I wish they would be gone permanently because they are making it very hard for everybody else. They are basically doing propaganda for the other side on this issue.
Dude, you're on some like heavy crack right now. I'm sorry, but you wish that all of the you don't even know who these people are. Like, I mean, like I understand.
Frogan and Hassan. Okay, we'll say Frogan, Hassan, and
no, but you're talking about this in the context of the panel. When I
we weren't talking about the context of the panel. The panel is just one part of the overall context.
Earlier, when I was talking, because I started talking again about how they should have the ability to just kind of make jokes about their own culture and the kind of stereotypes and expectations that people have about their culture. That's what the whole thing was about. And if you watch it, there's just tons of, I guess you could call it self-deprecating humor that is aimed at themselves, that is aimed at their own community. And I actually think that is a very good thing, like in the way that they do it. I think it's a good thing because of the fact that, we don't have that much discussion about Arab cultures. We don't know much about it. And to see people kind of both recognizing those things and making like light of them, it makes all of it more approachable.
Okay,
it's a very like down to earth and fun and funny panel. And so and like for you to say that they all should be banned for that, like that is crazy.
Okay,
dude. Like,
when you were talking about Arab-coded, enjoy Sabra. You're talking about whether someone is authentic to the culture on the basis of their judgments about your personal statements, etc., etc. Okay, so when they're taking someone like Kuihman, for example, as an example, someone who is actually Arab, and they're putting her lower than Arab on the basis of that looks very bad to people on the outside, so on and so forth. Okay, if you're classifying people in a similar way according to like political disagreements on ethnic lines, which is what that graph was, regardless of whether or not you think it was lighthearted or innocent or whatever, once again, you are making a situation in which Twitch as a company has no case whatsoever to defend it. Like, what are they going to do? What are they going to say? Let's play this out. Like, what does Twitch say to defend this?
Well,
never trust a blue-eyed Arab. It's not like a funny look into.
If I had expected to kind of I just didn't expect to kind of guess if I had known that I would have to kind of work this hard to explain things. I mean, what you're asking is a perfectly reasonable question, but I would have kind of, in the kind of condition that I'm in right now.
Have you considered that maybe you could be wrong, and that's why you're unable to come up with a reason that you think the thing you think? I fucking hate when people do this, when they just like, yeah, I can't really come up with a reason right now. It's like, well, dude, let's try and think through it. Try and reason through it, bro. Never trust a blue-eyed Arab. What the fuck does that statement mean, Vadim?
I would have made some notes and I would be able to answer that question. I just sometimes, when I'm this underslept and my brain fog is this severe, it's very difficult for me to kind of, especially in a, the debate can kind of be a bit stressful. So I would have held out.
No debate, just sit there. Just sit there and work out. Sit in silence together. Pull out a pen and paper and see if you can figure this one out. What the fuck did they mean when they said never trust a blue-eyed Arab? Let's do this equation, Vadim. Let's show you're working.
That's my bad. That's on me. I understand that. But I think regardless, I think it's just really crazy. I mean, the fact that you have said that. What did you just say a moment ago? You said that you wish that they were all gone. What do you know about these other creators? What do you know? Like I know
that they all went on a stage with someone who said that October 7th was an act of revolution and that she hopes that veterans get PTSD. And they made jokes about how never trust Arabs with blue eyes and whatnot in front of a stage with Twitch advertisers on it. That's very stupid.
Okay. So every time that someone joins, like if we were to hold everyone to that, like that sort of like a, what's the word? Help me out here. A standard, then tons of people would be like for just interacting with other people. But Frogan is not like from what I've seen, even though that one tweet is pretty abysmal, I do not stand behind that at all. I have not seen anything that kind of just like people are, there are tons of memes just kind of equating her with fucking James Nick Fuentes, and it's just, I think it's
sorry, he went a different direction. He went a different direction. Sorry.
Fucking James Nick Fuentes, and it's just, I think it's very harmful to kind of make those sort of
her immediate response to a whole bunch of Israeli civilians were massacred was this is what revolution looks like. Suck it up, Buttercup. Like that was her response to that. I can kind of be sympathetic to the Nick Fuentes comparisons. It's a similar level of callousness.
I am not here to defend.
The problem with that comparison is that Fuentes is way too funny to be anything like Frogan. I like Fuentes says some crazy anti-Semitic shit, and I'm like not even disgusted by it because it's like, I mean, he's fun. The delivery's funny, the delivery's good, and it's funny. Frogan says, "I'm just like you're just like a hateful, fat, nasty bitch." Fuentes is like there's a joke, there's like a whimsy to it, you know.
Defend that statement, but those people did not make that statement, and
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The reason for the bans were not just the panel. The reason for the bans was a response to the panel being emblematic of a general trend that they had other evidence for.
Those people should be banned purely for being willing to be on a stage with Frogan. That's what you think?
Should they be banned? No, but do I care? No.
No, you said you are glad that they are banned.
That doesn't mean I think they should be banned.
And you wish that they weren't around.
If Hassan Piker's PC died and he was never able to stream again, and it was through no active Twitches, I'd be glad to.
Okay,
yo, you just said Red Bar mentioned Frogan, and what do I see? I go and check redbarradio.net. Finally, episode 2 is out. And please tell me there's gotta be, yes, Tony Fiesta, celebrating the big Tony Hinchcliffe Madison Square Garden incident, revisiting the Tony Lobster tape, getting our anger out on the guys from Trigonometry. Oh, dude. I cannot wait to watch that later. I cannot wait.
Hassan was not on the stage there. Hassan, okay, I want to read this to you because I want to know if she had explained this.
They were also, by the way, just to be clear, they were suspended for 30 days. They weren't banned. Like what happened there was nothing.
They call it a 30-day ban, okay? And it's extreme for me.
Like Destiny was banned for life for like significantly less. Like just to be clear, like significantly less. The idea that Frogan's even able to go back to Twitch after what she said on Twitter is insane.
I want to say that I do not think that Destiny should be permanently banned. I am not for his.
Why not? He said Redneck should he said that Redneck should be brought in to mow down protesters. You don't think he should be permanently banned for that? I do. How about Asmongold? Think he should be permanently banned? I think he should be permanently banned.
I think that they should receive a very long banning, but I'm not here. Let me because it's very here. Let me drink some water.
Okay, no worries, take it down.
Let me ask. So I just want to know, like again, the statement. Let's talk about the her statement about the having to do with soldiers some more.
Okay.
So again, I don't think that this clarification should change the like anything that she said on. It doesn't change anything that she happened to say live. But I want to know if she had couched things like this, if you would have had a problem with it. She said, the U.S. military has conducted some of the most horrific crimes against humanity in the modern era in countries such as Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine. My anger is directed at individuals who are currently championing these war crimes as if they liberated my people. It's horrific and disgusting. The beginning of the clip was worded poorly, and I do apologize for that. I go on to clarify in the clip that I do not mean all military, but specifically those with no remorse. What I said was out of frustration, as they currently are bombing my family in the name of liberation. I realize that liberation, it's in quotes. I realize that wishing people harm isn't the best way to talk about all these issues, and I could have talked about these topics in a more sensitive way. So I am just wondering if she kind of used some of that basic wordage and was making an argument to the effect of people who go into wars and partake in you know what? I'll just I'm having a really hard time sometimes. The brain fog comes very strongly. And so I'm having a harder time putting words together than I did earlier. This happens sometimes. But I'll just ask, do you understand that she was, that was how she, when she said, or that statement, she qualified it. And I'm sorry, I'm like really like cracking out here. But here, I'll just, why don't you speak for a second? Because I just need to kind of like, sometimes my brain fog is so bad that like I just can't put a word or two together, and I don't always know when it's going to be this like kind of heavy. So I apologize.
Wait. Kuihman Live, you said there's nothing morally wrong with molesting children, correct? What? Is that relevant to the conversation that's happening on screen? Because I just went and got a coffee. So if I missed something. That's a crazy question to come back to.
I guess that I will say in relation to that, I've had lots of friends and, distant family who have served, and
What country's Frogan from?
What's that?
What country's Frogan from?
She's American.
Right, okay. So when you say that her family are being
she does have family
by American veterans, who are you talking
about? She has family who are in Lebanon, and she and her family has friends who are all over the area who are.
So how is Frogan affected by this, Vadim? So how is Frogan affected by this?
In mortal danger. When I say she has family, I think she's made it clear that her immediate family is okay, but that she has distant family, and she has lots of loved ones and friends that are in danger. So I understand that. Like basically, I cannot I would find it extraordinarily difficult.
I quote, Muhammad just needed therapy, dude.
To not have that same sort of outlook on things, to look like, to say like, basically, I think this may be a reductive way of putting it, but in a tweet, I said something to the effect of that.
That's the type of shit I'd say for real.
Because
Muhammad needed therapy.
I will be able to put it into words better by just reading it due to my...
Muhammad had autism, okay?
Just my kind of brain issues at the moment. Here it is. So I said she's clearly talking about those who participate in unjust wars and don't regret that fact in hindsight. What kind of a-hole doesn't regret serving in unjust wars? Are we giving prizes to vets who are like, I loved napalming all those Vietnamese kids now?
Okay, hang on. Okay, look. Here's the problem, okay? Okay. Frogan glorified October 7th. Hezbollah started firing missiles at Israel on October 8th and has continued to do so to present day. Hezbollah, like Hamas, specifically was provoking action by Israel. If she's going to take that particular position, like it's kind of a piss poor justification for wishing PTSD on veterans in general. It's a really stupid thing to do, and it doesn't matter once again because how it's going to be taken is she is attacking a protected class in America, and Twitch does not have a basis to defend it. It doesn't matter if you think it was good or bad manners or acceptable morally.
You think it would be okay for a Vietnamese boy in Vietnam whose family was massacred by some American vets to say, I wish I had PSD specifically about the soldiers who did that and don't regret it, who look at the crimes that they've committed and know that it was kind of an unjust war. America shouldn't have been there in the first place, and they're still like, yeah.
You're saying that Twitch.
I'm really
please,
proud of that.
hang on. You're saying that Twitch should be giving special treatment to people who are affected in a peculiar way by particular people who fit within the umbrella of people that they're attacking.
Let me clarify, okay? First of all, at the end of the day, I already said when it comes to that particular banning, I think there's far more of an argument for it than the panel. And at the end of the day, even though that I think it's kind of bullshit, that one I'm just not going to argue as vociferously. Right now, what I'm really talking about, I'm really kind of couching this in a way. Like, I think that, I guess what I should say is that I think that there was also an overreaction to what
Guys, we have to play Dragon Age at some point, but I'm more entertained by this debate than I thought I'd be. This is a better debate than I thought. We tried watching a bit of it the other night, and it didn't really grab me. But now it is. Now I'm like, it's insane the type of shit Vadim's saying here.
That there, and
she wished harm on a protected class of people on Twitch. Just to be clear, that's what she did.
And I think that it's just not like it. Like would you?
I don't know if we'll finish it tonight. I probably won't. I probably wouldn't finish it tonight anyway. It's fucking 3 hours long. We'll probably wrap it up at some midway because there's actually no way I finish this.
Like tonight. Have a problem if a survivor from Gaza a couple years from now.
No, you don't understand. First of all, just hang on, please.
What?
Please, just to be clear. First of all, okay, there's a difference between a survivor from Gaza and someone who glorified another attack from which there are survivors. Okay, saying that she is now using a counterattack to an act of terror that she approved of and glorified in public. To say that now, because she's a victim, it's cool to like wish PTSD on.
Yeah, I don't get why a retard like this stays on call for 3 hours. He doesn't stream, so there's not even exposure for him right now. He's just sitting here embarrassing himself so Sunday can make loads of money.
Veterans in general, and she did not specify that latter detail. Not that it matters as far as Twitch's handling of it is concerned, but she did not specify that latter detail until after she was pushed. These are not commensurate with each other.
She said it like within the same
Who cares?
Like 30 seconds later.
No, she had to get pushed. She had to get pushed to make that clarification. I'm sorry.
What are you talking about? I saw the footage. Like, where was she pushed? It was all one statement over the course of like 90 seconds.
Her specifying, no, I just mean people who took part in bad wars and whatever. That doesn't matter, dude. Doesn't matter. None of this matters. Like, what do you want from me? Like, hey, I actually think it was actually morally okay if she did that. Like, who fucking cares? Here's at the end of the day, this is what actually took place. And this is what you should be angry with them for, okay? Under conditions where there is a massive alliance of forces, okay, to justify the mass bombing and devastation and deprivation, et cetera, whatever number of bad words ending in ION you like, in Gaza and the West Bank, amidst all of that taking place, these goofballs started making reckless statements in public that are easily demonized that will be used to represent us and have been used to represent us, which means that whenever somebody takes up that stance, they now have to deal with people echoing back, well, look at all these prominent leftists and look at what they're saying about it. You want to tell me that they're not like pro-terrorists? Like, you should be mad that they've thrown us under the bus to just indulge themselves. These are victims. Yeah. These are people whose jobs are to sit on a stage and yap.
You know, I think it's a little interesting that you defended Dr. Flowers because Professor Flowers, because the very same kind of hold on a second, I got it. Oh fuck.
Professor Flowers didn't endorse genocide. Professor Flowers didn't endorse genocide.
I think that was a situation where
Professor Flowers refused to condemn genocide. She refused to condemn. Very key distinction there.
You were defending someone who was doing something. Who? Hold on, I have to turn my camera off.
Have your eggs in a row. Have your ducks in a row before you make this move. Okay, just think about it for a second. I know you're tired.
Okay, hold on. I need to turn my camera off and do something real quick. Okay. Come on in, dude. In that case, you saw that a community was kind of coming down on her way too hard. I don't think that you kind of thought necessarily that everything you signed on to everything that she had said, but you recognized that people were not giving her a fair shake. And when it comes to the this panel, it's the same thing. These people have not been like the panel has not been spoken of in like a realistic way. Like it would like
I'm actually being completely consistent here. My issue with Professor Flowers was not that I agreed with what you said. My issue with Professor Flowers was that she was being characterized as endorsing genocide when she wasn't. She was endorsing something that would, in practical terms, probably require the mass displacement of people. But in her mind, that wasn't the case. She was being naive. There's a difference between saying someone is endorsing a fascist state and someone is endorsing a correction to historical injustices that, in practice, would probably necessitate those actions if she naively thinks they wouldn't. That's the difference. World of difference between those two. They were making essentializing comments about Arabs on that channel, and it is very easily spinnable as them invoking ethnic categories to criticize people who were Jewish and so on and so forth.
I think it was his cat.
It is easy to spin it that way. But even the stuff they said was not safe regardless. And some of the stuff was just bluntly just essentializing of Arab people. Like, it's just stuff you shouldn't be saying in that context. It's really, really dumb.
I just
in the context of some people on that panel glorifying October 7th, in the context of a lot of people who those people are networked with, like whitewashing someone who, for all intents and purposes, was understood to be like a Houthi terrorist. So, like, what I mean, like, there's no comparison between these two.
You keep bringing that into things in the context of the panel, and that's just like it's.
Oh, guys, actually, I'm gonna do a quick chill as well as we're going quite late. Guys, if you're enjoying this content right now, okay, remember, guys, there's the bare minimum we ask for here is a like on the stream. Really, you don't want me to end up like Xander Hall, do you? You don't want me to be AIDS-ridden, withering away, begging you guys to please pump some life back into my channel. Please let the algorithm pick up my content. You don't want me to end up like that, do you guys? So please like the stream right now, okay, guys? Very important that some of the 130 or so people who could be liking the stream right now but haven't, move the cursor, thumbs up and click it, or press the thumbs up on the other device. Hugely important you do that, so I don't end up like some miserable AIDS patient desperately begging to be let back into the YouTube algorithm, okay? But if you want to support the stream even more, you can do so by donating directly through a Stream Elements link in the pinned chat message. You can also buy a membership, gift a membership, gift a whole bunch of memberships randomly throughout the chat. Buy a super chat, which will highlight your message and read out on TTS, or buy a super sticker, which is a YouTube image or GIF that will be highlighted in chat that they'll describe to you. You can go to discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman, and reddit.com/r/Kuihman. Thank you.
But it's the panel is not by itself, dude. It's not by itself.
And manipulative.
Excuse me?
You said that you thought, here, let me read you this, one thing. I want to hear what you have to say about this. I just this was a tweet from Capri Sun Poppy. So he said he was the host there. He was the guy.
Oh, he was the don't trust a white. Sorry, an Arab with blue eyes guy. That was right?
Well, he actually is kind of. I mean, they're all pretty white, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but the YouTube CEO is actually friends with Elon Ma, which means my channel will be deleted any day now. Okay, I feel the boot, a knee on my neck, a knee on both of my arms.
That was like, I mean, I think one of them.
You can be white and Arab, by the way.
What's that?
You can be white and Arab, by the way.
Yeah, they are. One of them is white and Arab.
Okay.
Like that. You see, you're taking that.
But it doesn't matter.
It absolutely does. You have to kind of like look at what someone is saying and whether or not like everyone on that stage when that was said knew that it was a just a joke. They were kind of like riffing off of I don't know how to explain it. Let me just read this. So Capri Sun Poppy, the host of this, said, "We actually put Love Sabra on the list because I wanted to remind the panel of the time my father's people massacred my mother's people in Sabra and Shatila. It has nothing."
This was a joke post. No? Am I crazy? This was like a parody post. This was like him. Dude, he's actually running with this?
Let me just read this. So Capri Sun Poppy, the host of this, said, "We actually put Love Sabra on the list because I wanted to remind the panel of the time my father's people massacred my mother's people in Sabra and Shatila. It has nothing to do with ass store-bought hummus. It has to do with this very real, deeper meaning." So I just want to hear your reaction to that.
Shut the fuck up, dude. You got trolled. Thank you for the $5 New Zealand Quella of the Shiba Inu super sticker. He's going, ha ha ha. He's off into his hand. Thank you.
First.
I'm sorry, what?
Do you want me to read it again?
The category was enjoys Sabra or likes Sabra.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a...
So,
what?
I'm reading you this tweet that Capri Sun Poppy posted. I can put it in the chat.
I'm sorry, so Capri Sun Poppy afterwards said, "No, actually, I was invoking a massacre." Are you saying like they love the massacre of Sabra and Shatila? Is that the explanation for the category?
Again. We actually put Love Sabra on the list because I wanted to remind the panel of the time my father's people massacred my mother's people in Sabra and Shatila. It has nothing to do with ass store-bought hummus. It has to do with a very real, deeper meaning.
What's the deeper meaning? That the word Sabra is in both? Like, what is the deeper meaning?
In the context of this tweet, here, I'll just put it in.
It's a fucking troll tweet. It's a troll tweet. It was meant to troll Ethan. That was the point.
In the chat, and you can take a look at it.
Okay. We actually put Love Sabra on the list because I wanted to remind the panel of the time my father's people massacred my mother's people in Sabra and Shatila. It has nothing to do with ass or about hummus. It has to do with this very real, deeper meaning. That sounds
made up
to my untrained eyes like a joke.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, but that has no bearing on the panel, though, dude.
No, it does, because that right there is an example of what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
That joke was made because of the fact that they all felt it was incredibly absurd shit. I have to turn my camera off for a second.
It's because I know why he's turning his camera. Can you see what? Can you see why he's turning his camera off? Did you see why?
They all
because the cat's opening the fucking door. It's because the cat is opening this fucking door.
It's incredibly absurd shit. I have to
look at him.
Turn my camera off for a second. That joke was made because, you know, he feels like people have characterized them and they're
he's just like the cat through the door.
They're fairly lighthearted and just and for the most part inoffensive panel.
It's not up to them to decide if their panel's offensive or not. Are we children here? That's not how this works.
But at the same time, sure. But people are going to read all kinds of shit into it, and that's exactly what's happened. This is a case of people. I mean, like, I'm not even saying that this entire thing had no level of kind of controversial elements to what they were doing in a tongue-in-cheek way. Yes, man, absolutely.
I don't.
But what?
It's just we keep spinning around the same wheel. It's like, dude, the issue is that a whole bunch of these people and the people who are really big on Twitch are glorifying terrorist attacks on civilians and have glorified specific terrorists themselves. Bluntly, this panel that looked really fucking sus.
None of the Frogan literally did that. Frogan did that.
To a lot of people, had a whole lot of racial essentialization and was using racial essentialization to categorize people as being pro-Israel and having fake Arab credentials, essentially. Looked really bad for Twitch. It was the focus point of an attack by groups. Excuse me.
Arab credentials on this? Well, who had fake Arab credentials?
What do you think the difference between Arab-coded, and Love Sabra is? If you had to put that on a scale, what do you think that scale is representing?
Oh my God! You're kind of like talking about this as though,
Arab-coded, Love Sabra.
They were
Ethan Klein, Love Sabra. Pokimane, don't trust Arabs with blue eyes. What do you think that's doing?
They're very close friends with
Who cares? Twitch doesn't know that. Twitch doesn't care.
It's not the point.
Viewers don't care. Why does that matter? This is a public display.
Because there are certain ways, like I said, you can very easily. I'm like, it's not like a shock to me that people took this. This is like a very easy setup to present in an incredibly reductive way to not actually like ask yourself was the majority of this just like lighthearted and just kind of like it's so like did you watch Denham's explain the panel like seriously?
I don't care about Denham's explanation of the panel. It doesn't matter. The explanation of the panel doesn't matter. Do you know what the difference? I'm going to explain a little bit of speech act theory to you, okay? There's a difference between the content of a sentence and what a sentence does. So, for example, it is distinctly possible for a sentence to be totally benign. Ethan Klein loves Sabra, right? That may be a completely false or a completely true statement. We just don't know. But by itself, it's immaterial. However, in a particular context, it does a particular kind of thing. In this case, it classifies someone.
Exactly. In context, and context has to do with intention.
No, it doesn't. Context has to do with the other things the thing is interacting with when it does a thing, like where it is. That's what context is. It has nothing to do with intention.
It does have a lot to do with intention.
No, it doesn't, because context by definition has to do with the relation between objects and other objects externally to it. The intention of a thing can be intuited from context, but your intentions are not manifest in context by itself, and they don't determine context. Your intentions engage with context or can be inferred from context, but no.
If somebody says in a podcast,
crazy, so Sunday literally having to explain like reading comprehension, like high school reading comprehension. To Vadim. Oh my God, get me out, bro.
Like, dude, like if you keep saying that, I'm gonna kill you, right? Like something like that. Would it be okay? And like, you know, this was obviously said in a like jesting manner. And the person who was on stage did not like take that as a threat. Then would you kind of say the same thing about a statement like that? Like. No. Well, it's the same thing. They all have.
However, if in context there was no reason to have that expectation, the person said it in a tone that was misread, so that their intentions, regardless of what they were, it was still read as this is an actual threat against the person, and that person was banned for that. That's their problem. They made a stupid judgment in saying a thing that could be taken in a particular kind of way on a public platform of which they have no control.
Okay. I just very difficult to out of the context of actually like watching it. I mean, I have clips. I could screen share like a couple of clips and like we could talk about them and maybe that would actually give a better idea of like I would like to know if you think that they are being racist.
I do not care about how they talked about the panel after being banned. I do not care.
No. These are clips from the panel.
So I saw the panel.
I'd like to gauge. Let's take a look at a couple of them because you know like I want to see what if you're like, you know, if you think that they are essentializing Arabs here in a way that should have gotten them banned.
I don't think the ban was because of what was said on the panel. I think what was said on the panel opened an opportunity for people to make a general critique about something that looked really bad with all these people in one place together at TwitchCon with Twitch on the stage.
Wait. Did you just say that you don't think that Can you repeat the first part?
I don't think the Twitch panel by itself was the reason for the bans. I think that just happened to be the thing that was targeted as the most immediate event that happened to involve a group of people who were all engaging in similar activities.
So you don't think that they should have gotten that all of those other people should have gotten that ban? Because the thing is that all of those people
what are you asking when you say they should have gotten that ban? What do you think you're asking? On what plane should they or shouldn't they have gotten that ban? What are you asking me specifically?
Vadim could die from heart attack, overdose, cancer, self-immolation for Gaza accident due to sleep deprivation, starvation, stroke, so either of these are fine by me. Hope.
Bro, what? Chill. Thank you, but chill. The fuck?
Specifically.
Do
you mean, in my opinion, would I have banned them in Twitch's place? Do you mean morally they should have been banned? Do you mean like what?
If we knew nothing of anything that Frogan did, because this is all about Frogan, if we knew nothing of what Frogan did, if Frogan was just some person who that was their first time on stage, and would it be okay for those people to be banned for that panel?
Perfectly. It's perfectly okay for them to be banned. Why isn't it okay for them to be banned? Vadim, please. They don't own the platform they're on. They engaged in activities that look really bad to a lot of people, and Twitch doesn't want to defend them. Why shouldn't Twitch ban them?
Because of they should stand by them because of the fact that this entire thing was just a fucking witch hunt, dude. You got the ADL and Stop Anti-Semitism. Do you know about those groups? Do you know about how they purposely?
I'm aware of them. I'm aware of them. But slow down, cowboy. Is it not the case that one of the people on that stage said that October 7th was an act of revolution?
No, this is important. This is important. Don't you do recognize that these are people who have or rather organizations that have made extremely dubious statements about people calling them. Okay, so then I'm glad we're on the same page there. So we have that going on. We also have people like, well, I guess Richard.
But the things that I brought up are completely public to everybody. Like, these are confirmed. We've seen what Frogan has said about October 7th.
We're talking like I'm so flabbergasted that you can't just keep it to this panel and you keep on bringing up what.
Dude, Kenny is desperately trying to get his time down on Space Colony Arc. He just messaged me. Let me read you what Kenny just messaged me. Kenny just sent me a Space Colony Arc Act 1 time that beats my Space Colony Arc Act 1 time. And he messages me saying, I'll say some stuff to you that will make the ADL weep. If I fail my classes, I'm doxing you and living you in your house. And he still hasn't beat the other map's time. And he's this pressed. He still hasn't beat the other time. He's been sitting there. He beat this time twice. He hasn't beat the other time. And he's this pressed.
What Frogan said and did. This is about whether or not.
Also, if he's just done the yoinky sploinky skip on Act 1, I'm gonna fucking literally. I would just go learn that skip and beat this time immediately.
The panel. Okay, you're not.
I'm glad that these people got.
I think maybe your lack of sleep is catching up to you a bit more than you think. The point is not that the panel is double plus bad by itself. My point from the beginning has been that the panel. First of all, Twitch is entirely from the right to ban them for what they said on the panel, regardless of what you were, I think, in terms of their intentions with what they said on the panel. But secondly, given the context of everything else that Twitch has been allowed to be said on their platform, what they've been saying off platform, I have no argument against them being banned whatsoever.
What have they been saying off platform? I'm not talking about Frogan. What have the others said that is controversial? It actually really matters. Like the fact that you are okay with all these other people taking taking the blame, basically.
Well, they weren't taking the blame for it, but they weren't taking the blame for it. The panel was not good either. The panel was not good either.
What?
The panel was not good either.
Okay, well then let's watch parts of the panel because I want to see if you think that they are being this Arab tokenization or essentialization that you're talking about. I want to see if you think it's here. Now this is just kind of I don't think that this is particularly necessarily a super funny part. This is just this was a clip that I thought kind of did capture to a certain extent some of the humor. Why
does it matter?
Why does it matter? Because we're trying to establish whether this panel was as flagrantly racist as you say it.
I didn't say it was flagrantly racist.
Okay, well, let's watch it, okay?
But I didn't say it was. But hang on, Vadim. I don't know who you're talking to, but I didn't say the panel was flagrantly racist. I said it was essentializing Arabs, and it also essentialized Arabs in order to juxtapose people who like Sabra along essentially ethnic lines. And that is the case. Now, it doesn't matter what the intentions of the people who did that were, because from Twitch's vantage point, they don't have access to this. Okay, they're not coming into this with social justice degrees. It's not how this works.
I feel like you don't.
They're running a business, and they don't want to defend that.
I'm getting the impression here that you don't want to watch this because if it comes off in a way that
I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this for two reasons. I'll give them to you right now. The first is it would bore me. The second one is that you finding independent clips that demonstrate the actual humor is irrelevant. I haven't insisted that these people are actually hateful towards Jews or towards Arabs. It doesn't matter. Does not matter a bit.
What matters? I think it really does matter because you have said that you are really happy that they got clapped.
I am. I'm very happy they got clapped, and I'm very happy they got clapped for a very specific reason. They make people who have my positions look really bad long in advance of us ever even getting to the dinner table to have the conversation, because they reach a whole lot of people, and that is a bad thing because it makes us on this side of the aisle look like crazy people, which means we are very easily dismissed. That's a bad thing.
I remember 10 years ago, around 10 years ago, there was so much controversy around Black Lives Matter. And there were all these people on, who were having conversations. Some of them were extremely racist people. And then other
this
people
panel is not Black Lives Matter, dude. This panel is not. Yeah. This panel is not an imperfect act of resistance by oppressed people. This panel was a bunch of privileged Twitch micro celebrities being stupid. That is all it was.
Yeah, that's kind of like exactly the arguments that people would make in relation to a lot of people who were speaking up on behalf of BLM at the time. These
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What are you referring to? Who?
I'm talking about like just everyone from Margaret Cod to the Amazing Atheist to just that was
no. Give an example of the people standing up. Say Kaepernick.
I'm sorry, just to be clear, we are not talking, when I am talking about the behavior of Twitch streamers on a Twitch panel at TwitchCon, I am not talking about normal people who are protesting in the street and are maybe acting a little uncouth for the media, okay? That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about people who put together a thing for fun because they thought it was funny, because they thought they were clever, and they are doing this at TwitchCon for their audiences as a form of entertainment. That's what this is.
Well, let's watch it.
Why? What is it showing us?
Well,
no one's stopping you from showing it. I'm not excited to go into it because I don't think this matters.
I think it matters.
Why?
Because I want to see what your reaction to it is.
Given the argument.
But dude, make your point. Why can't you just make his point? I want to see what your reaction is. Make your point. What point are you trying to make by showing the panel?
That I've made, which is that they provided the perfect opportunity.
So you show it to Sunday. Sunday, look, this is exactly how it goes. I know this is how it's going to go. He shows it to Sunday. Sunday is the same reaction. He's like, what? Well, how can you think that? How can you think that? No, come up with your argument first. You have to come up with your argument first. You have to know what point you're trying to prove by showing this. You can't just go, what's your reaction to this? Because Sunday can just say the exact same thing again. He can just go, well, no, I think that's racist.
For someone to make an argument to Twitch, they don't have a defense against. What is me seeing the little bits of this that you think clarify their innocent intentions? What is that?
Jimmy, step off. I've been like, my speech has been so fine this whole stream. Okay? Do not try and press me. Fucking, what are we? Almost the 7th hour.
What's that do? Like, so what? Yeah, you know what? I believe that they were all just having a fun, jolly old time. I don't care.
I'm not saying that you will watch this and all of a sudden, like it's pretty clear that you're like good. I mean, well, I would hope to think that maybe you can be persuaded otherwise. I don't expect that, but I do want to see, because you made a comment about them essentializing Arabs. You really just keep on going back to one comment over and over and over, and I want to see. I want to see how you react. I want to see how you react.
Arab coded, like Sabra, puts non-Arabs at the bottom. What is that doing?
There were plenty. There were like 3 Arabs on the bottom.
Doesn't matter. That's
the megalomaniacal thing is funny. The megalomaniacal thing was so funny.
Actually, just by the way, but it doesn't matter. Just to be clear, slow down. Hang on. No.
Hierarchy.
Pause for a second. Vadim, take a breath. Take a breath. If you are taking Arabs and you're putting them on a list that begins Arab, Arab-coded, and not Arab, and on the basis of your judgments about their character placing them as not Arab, you are essentializing them negatively according to an ethnic category. And you may be doing it as a joke, but it is not Twitch's job to recognize that as a joke. It is their job to not be playing in lines that make them easy targets for negative propaganda against them. That's it. Or against other people who are aesthetically associated with them.
That's why I start thinking that, like I mentioned earlier,
okay, guys, I think we're going to get to where they start watching the panel and then switch to Valgar.
People kind of expecting these people to basically be perfect victims because of the fact that
these are not victims. These are Twitch streamers. These are people at TwitchCon.
What I mean by that is, like if you had some sort of panel where you had a Black podcast and people were talking about, like, their podcast had to do with their experience as Black people in society, and they had some sort of something that was equivalent where they were basically kind of trying to gauge, like, who these people are kind of like,
Hey, answer me this. Was the panel a fundraiser?
I don't know. Was it?
I don't know. Was it? Hey, Google, be quiet.
I'm asking you, like, you seem to ask that question as though you knew whether or not.
I'm in the dark about this. I am asking, is there any actual practical way in which this was actually helping any oppressed people, or was this a display for entertainment by Twitch streamers?
Yeah, I think that it is very helpful. Sure. I think it is actually very helpful. I think it's very helpful because of the fact that, like, we have. You're asking how I thought that a panel like this was helpful?
Explain how the panel's helpful, please.
I think the panel is helpful because you have 3 people from different walks of life within the Arab community here talking about using a topic that gives them a launch pad to, like, kind of just crack lighthearted jokes in relation to their experience. And by the fact that hold on a second, I'm so parched right now. Due to the fact that
THC will do that.
what?
I said THC will do that.
Yeah, I'm not stoned. I probably appear as though I'm incredibly stoned.
I'm just making a joke. It's okay. I'm on crack apparently, so we'll consider us even.
Okay.
Well, I guess I have a performance advantage in that case.
Yeah, I wish I had some crack right now. It would probably kind of jolt my brain a little bit.
You want to take 5 minutes? That was a joke. Sorry, go on.
Okay. So, yeah, I think that because I've also kind of had a chance to watch some of their podcasts and whatnot, and I think that they have a thing going on that kind of makes them.
All right. So remember when I said
it makes their the way in which they relate to each other on this.
You're just saying the same thing again. Look, remember when I said earlier that you wanted.
It makes them and their experience more relatable to people who actually sit down and can kind of like not judge it by like just the like by surface level things. If they actually sit and they actually like listen to what they're saying, then like the all of the like accusations that people have made about this, like I think that they just.
Well, the lighthearted jokes involve essentializing people according to race and delegitimizing people on a racial.
Okay, so I want to know, but you've only given one example of that.
Well, remember earlier when I said that effectively what you were asking for is for Twitch as a company to treat people differently on the basis of their victim status, or their racial designation status. This is what you're doing here. You're saying they're Arab, therefore this should have been treated by Twitch as okay. Because if this is being done by people who weren't Arab, for example, if this is being done by people who weren't Arab, then I think you probably have more of an issue with it.
If this was people rating, in the same way that I would have an issue with white people doing a tier list, talking about how any other marginalized group that wasn't their own, in that case.
There were as you astutely.
Well, how about white people did it with white? Like someone said in chat earlier, white coded, loves watermelon, loves fried chicken, loves curry, like. Dude, imagine British doing loves curry at the bottom. British coded to, British people love curry anyway. It doesn't really work. But we made it better. So, but yeah, you get the idea. Any like outside of the white, stereotypical foods, some other minority, some minority's stereotypical food at the bottom. It's like it would be terrible. It would obviously be insane.
Pointed out there were as you astutely pointed out earlier, there were white people on that panel saying don't trust a Arab with blue eyes, right?
Yeah, and whether or not that was a total just like a shit, like the equivalent of a shit post.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're not morally judging these people. We're asking whether Twitch was right to ban them. They are perfectly within their rights to ban them, and I think it was perfectly appropriate to ban them given the response. That's it.
Okay, you're being yeah, man, it's just I wasn't. I guess I should have expected for the.
I mean, just to be clear, do you think that Arabs aren't capable of being racist towards other Arabs? Please, do you think that Arabs aren't capable of being racist towards Arabs? I'll click that after you answer the question.
Of course they are.
I will click watch the stream after you answer the question. Okay.
Okay. Well, and that is the point where we will take a break for tonight. Okay. As much as I'm enjoying this, we'll save the rest of it for tomorrow. Here we go. We're back to Sunday versus Vadim. Does anyone need a refresher? Were we all here yesterday? Do we know what's going on? We need a refresh? Okay. So Vadim joined Sunday's stream to try and defend Frogan. He thought he was going to have a sympathetic voice, a sympathetic ear to speak his defense of Frogan to. And he has completely failed the whole time. He's had brain fog, terrible brain fog. He can't figure out what he wants to say. And he keeps just basically defaulting to, oh, well, they're Arabs, so they can't be racist to other Arabs, is essentially the route that he's taken for most of it. That's pretty much the route that he's taken for the entire thing. He keeps saying it's not what he's doing, but that is what he's doing. Now, Vadim, if you don't remember, sorry, I'm just stalling while I grab this clip. You weren't here yesterday. Vadim, if you don't remember, is the guy who cried on Chud's stream over a hippy-dippy championship result, okay? Literally broke down in tears over a hippy-dippy championship result, okay? Because Destiny beat Demon Mama. Okay, so this is back to present day now, okay? And Vadim, the guy who's just crying, is on President Sunday's stream to defend Frogan, all right? And they're just about to watch some of the panel together.
Are Arabs being clear as day racist towards other Arabs on a Twitch panel at TwitchCon?
I think
Okay.
Spicy did not exist when that happened. 26th of July, 2021. Spicy did not exist. No.
Let me take a look at a picture of Frogan, because I think Frogan might be an Arab with blue eye, a white Arab with blue eyes. She is she is pretty white.
Vadim, stop while you're ahead.
Stop what?
Stop while you're ahead. Okay? Just stop. Stop while you're...
Yeah, I remember watching it live too, Bug, but yeah, it was pretty spicy. It was pretty spicy. So yeah, the argument here is about, so basically there was a comment made in the panel that was like, never trust an Arab with blue eyes, never trust a blue-eyed Arab, basically. And Sunday saying, well, that's obviously racist, because it obviously is. And Vadim saying, well, I don't know, is Frogan a blue-eyed Arab?
While you're ahead.
What? Why? What?
It doesn't matter. Just stop while you're ahead, okay?
Okay. Dude, it actually does matter. Like you are acting as though intention and kind of like that the people
never trust a blonde Jew.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and play this. All right. So I want to see if you find this as like this because they do like they do make jokes here that are at the expense of hello. Yeah. They do make jokes here that are at the expense of all kinds of Arabs here. And so I want to see kind of like if you feel the same thing about these jokes.
I love the spin. I noticed the other day that I like have phantom nose and I just do it. Like
this is echoing like crazy.
I'm just like sitting there like I'm like, oh,
this is coming through your audio too.
Oh no, it's happening.
What?
Keep playing it.
Dude. Oh my god.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, but it was echoing. Sorry, keep playing it.
Oh, okay.
I fixed it. I fixed it. Keep playing it.
Okay. All right.
Dude, I was just saying, Phantom Nose sounds like a racial thing for Arabs. You know what I'm saying? Well, why'd you point at me, the only Jew on the couch? No, it's crazy. That's insane. Why'd you say Phantom Nose and point at me? That's insane. I'm pointing at the Arab side of you. I'm sitting next to Denham's, the most Arab streamer.
Is this true? Am I the most Arab streamer? I don't think I'm the most Arab streamer.
I feel like my dad is the most Arab streamer.
Yeah, easily.
I feel like if your dad streamed, he would be bigger than you.
Yeah, he would. That's why he's not allowed on. My mom got a TikTok and beat me in 2 weeks, dude.
She's just kind of mom, yeah.
Dude, she's big. Yeah, blowing up in the Arab world.
So what happened to you? Where's the talent?
He's blowing up in other ways.
Yeah.
Oh. This is a fright note.
So welcome to our panel.
Okay. So
what was I supposed to take from this? What was I supposed to take from this?
I want to know. Well, clearly there they are playing around.
I mean, I forgot about the part where they were like Phantom Nose. That's great. Well done, guys. That looks good.
Well, there were all kinds.
Phantom Nose.
Yeah, what does that mean, Vadim? And then what was the joke? What was the joke there, Vadim? And then when you saying I was pointing at the Arab side of you, what was he deflecting from? What was he joking about, Vadim?
Well, when she said Phantom Nose, do you?
What do you think? What do you think she was referring to?
She was actually referring to kind of being aware of her nose on her face. When you kind of like look down, there's like a she like, are you, dude? Are you saying like if you're trying to like make some like read into it and say that she was talking about like, you know?
I'm not. It
like,
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't need to know their intentions. If this reads as bigoted against X, Y, or Z ethnic group to a general, it doesn't matter like what they explain as their actual intention behind it. It doesn't matter.
Wait. So you're saying the Phantom Nose thing is what are you saying about the Phantom Nose thing? What do you think that is?
I'm saying they're specifically joking about Phantom Nose, points to the guy, and they highlight you're pointing to the only Jewish person on the panel. It looks bad. Like that's it. Like you don't. That this is a stupid place to play in that kind of territory. Like this is just stupid. All of this is stupid. It's just Twitch on the back wall behind them.
Your reaction there really like speaks volumes. It's like because like
my reaction is consistent with everything else I've said tonight.
Like
what am I supposed to be? Okay, Vadim, what's the takeaway that I'm supposed to have from this? Walk me through it.
The takeaway is
exactly. We said this, so obviously some people weren't here last night. But I was just saying before we ended this last night, I was saying that really Vadim was like desperately trying to get Sunday to watch this, but wasn't giving a point that he was trying to make with it. It's like if you're gonna make someone watch it, you've got to have a pretty clear idea of the takeaway you kind of want them to have here. If you're like making someone watch it mid-debate, you need to be able to make a point that's like substantiated in some way by the thing you're going to show them. But Vadim didn't seem to have that part ready. Oh, I'm gonna, okay, right. I was fiddling with my microphone. That should be better.
that if that one, they are and you know that's probably the only, literally, unless you kind of yeah, I mean that actually is the only Jewish joke that is made over the course of the entire thing. That guy is,
so you're
except the stuff about Ethan Klein being a Zionist, even though he's not a Zionist.
We're accepting it. Okay, go on.
Wait. No. I'm not. I mean, like, I'm not saying that is bad by any means. I like there are so many. Are you kidding? Like there are tons of Jewish podcasts.
You're whinging at me like I have power over this. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm convinced of their intentions. You don't seem to be following me at all here. This is irrelevant. This is completely irrelevant.
No, but I'm asking you.
The bottom of the tier list being Love Sabra, or that part.
Do you think that in itself, do you think that what you just saw there, like if you saw those that do you think that there was anything ban-worthy in there? Do you think
if they made a joke about Jewish noses while they're all being criticized as being anti-Semitic because one person on the panel was glorifying October 7th, yeah, that was a bad place to make that joke, and that provided a pretext for banning them. Perfectly reasonable pretext for banning them, actually. If they don't want that kind of stuff even broached on their platform, they can do that.
I mean, again, that is a Jewish that.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter, dude. If they were making jokes about, if they're making similar jokes about black people or physical features there, and Candace Owens was on the panel as well, it wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. I'm not saying these people are as bad as Candace Owens. I'm not saying one in particular is a racist or whatever. It doesn't matter.
When you're setting such, like if you are looking at this and saying,
in politics more so than anywhere else, what you are is what you do. And what these people did was create the perfect pretext for casting them all as like being perfectly willing to racially essentialize people and make fun of it and which I don't give a shit about. But as far as you whinging about them being suspended from Twitter for 30 days, I don't care. It's politically stupid. It makes us look like bigoted idiots. And these people are bad representatives. These people are really bad representatives of this position. They are negative propaganda against us.
You've made it incredibly clear that you are totally fine with these people, like basically just being sacrificial lambs for.
I don't think they're you're confused. I don't think they're sacrificial lambs. I think
they've done it to themselves.
Them disappearing from the online space would be a net positive for leftists and for pro-Palestinians. I think they are a burden. I think they are a tremendous burden. I think the embarrassing things that those people do haunts us.
That is just insane, dude. Like I really wish that I had taken this up on a day where I was capable of kind of just defending things better, because I'm
running on basically no sleep. Okay, so.
Yeah, I know, but maybe if you want, you can watch a video on the last video that I made on my channel about my sleep issues. I have probably or maybe seen the early 80s here like this for some reason, but it happened. So soup, and then you're just out. But I really want to let you guys know how and why that happened. So I've talked a little bit in the past about a sleep disorder that I've been dealing with for years that is just really excuse me, Wizard, yawning while I'm making a video is very, very rude. And you know this. Yeah, you do. Okay, so I have this really bad sleep disorder, and I'd like to tell you guys a little bit more about it. So you know when you're in bed and you start slipping in between consciousness and unconsciousness, and your thoughts begin to melt into dream soup, and then you're just out? Well, I don't get that far, because I've been suffering from a form of night terrors. Every time I go to sleep, pretty much the split second I start drifting off, I will feel this pulse of energy right at the base of my skull. In that split second, my eyes jolt open, I'm gripped by this overwhelming primal fear, random muscles will twitch, or my arms and legs will shake rapidly or flail about, and more often than not, I'll scream at the top of my lungs. This all happens in a flash. But it doesn't really end there, because on most nights, this can go on for hours, over and over and over, and you get the point. This problem started occurring about 15 years ago, and it forced some pretty major lifestyle changes, but for the most part, I was kind of able to function, so I just lived with it. But then around August of 2021, I started to notice that things were quickly deteriorating. And by December, things had just gone completely off the rails, and I just couldn't function. I was getting 2 to 3 hours worth of sleep maximum over the course of every 72-hour period. And after each of those 2.5 to 3 day periods, I'd finally be so sleep deprived that I would just collapse. But even then, I'd only managed to get about 2 to 3 hours worth of sleep. Maybe 4 if I was lucky. I am so not shitting you here. I know that it sounds a little crazy, it might sound impossible, but those sudden jolts that I had were just that persistent and powerful. I would go on daily walks in a total daze, just trying to exhaust myself. I don't really think it helped that much, but I found out that I live near an alpaca farm, and incidentally, alpacas have really fucked up teeth, you know that? And all that's pretty cool, I guess, but for the most part, it just sucked. I could barely string sentences together. Extraordinarily simple things would just absolutely boggle my mind. My body felt like jello, and my brain felt like a pump full of helium. It was all very frightening and very, very, very distressing.
Jesus. Well, yeah, this guy lives in unending misery every day. Okay.
Worst sleep issues that anyone you've ever met in your life has, and I'm not at all being facetious.
Well, maybe you should have sent somebody who's more up to the task. I don't know if you're going to fight about this.
Yeah.
Stop.
I just don't know what other argument you're going to make when you're more awake. Like, it seems to me like we've been kind of circling the drain on the same points.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. These people being banned does not affect me. I don't care. They're going to be back in like 20 days. They're going to take a hit to their pockets. I don't care. This is irrelevant.
You should care, because there's no fucking reason that sort of joke that he was just making in terms of just everything you saw here. And I was showing it more than anything to show the final part where they were laughing about the blowing up thing, because that is them kind of I think with like good humor again.
I think they made jokes too. It's been a little hot minute, but I think they were making jokes about knowing a lot about 9/11 would make you, or 9/11 lore would make you more in the Arab category, right?
What?
It's just I don't know what to tell you.
Yes, that's what they said. Yes, they said about knowing 9/11 lore. Yeah,
dude, like they were not working within. They were not adopting a TOS.
Ah, yes, great reminder to show in chat there. Guys, we've got what? 293 watching, 120 likes on the stream. If some of those 173 people could please move their cursor, thumbs up, and click it, or press the thumbs up on a mobile device, that'd be hugely appreciated. Now, if you want to take your support further, you can do so by donating directly to the Stream Elements link in the pinned chat message. You can also buy a membership to the YouTube channel, gift a membership to the channel, gift a whole bunch of memberships randomly throughout the chat. Buy a super chat, which will highlight a message and read it on TTS, or buy a super sticker, which is a YouTube image or GIF that will be highlighted in chat that I'll then describe to you. You can go to discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman, or reddit.com/r/Kuihman. Thank you. Okay.
Attitude to this panel.
Have you ever watched
the company whose TOS they are?
Have you ever watched a podcast?
Yeah.
With Jews where they make Jews, they make jokes about their culture. They make jokes about
so what?
Noses and things like that all the time.
So okay, you can, that's fine. For Jews to do on a Jewish podcast or whatever. It's about Twitch having it on their stage, sponsored. Okay, if there are a bunch of Jews up there making Holocaust jokes, maybe they wouldn't be so okay with that. So when you see that, do you think
if Twitch banned a podcast that happened to have Jewish people running it who are making jokes about Jewish noses on that basis, that's perfectly within Twitch's purview to do. I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
I have no problem with that at all.
You are being totally sponsored by Twitch. You're on a TwitchCon main stage event with all their sponsors listed behind you. You can't say insane shit, obviously. What color are your eyes? Green.
I can't like you, so again, you think that clip on its own, the way that they were joking around, that's ban worthy. Like I realize that, that this clip is
probably not. No.
Okay. And do you recognize that they were like, and the blow up joke?
But by ban worthy, to be clear, hang on. Joke, to be clear, by ban worthy, do you mean would Twitch be in their rights to ban for it? Or do I think it would be reasonable to ban for it? Because these are different things.
Do whatever they want. They're, you know, like they could do but it does. It's not like TOS. It's not.
They also weren't. They also weren't banned for that joke, by the way.
I understand, but I'm kind of like.
So you showed me a joke they weren't banned for.
Yeah, but
and I'm supposed to what? Like,
well. I mean, you did say that it seemed
making
like
jokes about jokes about noses being a Jewish characteristic is probably TOS on Twitch.
The joke, the blowing up joke. You understand that they were kind of like the reason why they were laughing at that is because.
Thoughts on John Oliver's recent video calling for full governmental support for the end of deaths in Gaza?
I haven't seen it. I don't know what end of deaths in God, like, what does that mean? Like, there's probably going to be an end of deaths. Is that like, that sounds like a stupid talking point. Like, the thing I think is that people should, the reasonable thing is, obviously, want a ceasefire, obviously, and Netanyahu and top members of Likud, Ben-Gvir, whoever, to be tried, playing for the ICJ, warrants to be issued, whatever, you know, just let the process happen. That's like the reasonable perspective. People who are like, we have to pull our support. We have to stop funding Israel. That's like such a retarded point. It's like so fucking stupid. Because like just because the current government is doing things we might disagree with doesn't mean you want to end your entire allyship relationship with that country. Especially if you can try and right those wrongs, try and have a process carried out. Just But people don't actually care about stopping the deaths. They just care about that. It's like it's the anti-America thing. It's the Hassan thinking. It's the we've got to kneecap our own country by any means necessary. But whatever. Yeah.
They were kind of like cracking a really dark joke off of the connection between Arabs and suicide bombers, right?
Sure.
So, do you think that right there, that because that is an example of that?
I think if Twitch decides to ban on that basis, that's one of the more reasonable bases for banning that they've done in the past.
But you think that joke right there is like I guess I wanted to know, do you think that they are essentializing Arabs in like a completely inappropriate way that just should not be done on a Twitch panel with that joke?
So ask that again.
I'll show it again.
No, ask the question again, please.
The part where they made the joke about the blowing up thing.
Okay.
You like. I'm asking, do you think that is like? I guess
you're asking me if I was the boss of Twitch, would I have them banned for that? No.
This is what I'm asking you, okay? Because you several times when you were talking about them essentializing Arabs, you brought it down to that one blue-eyed thing. So do you think that
making jokes about Arabs and explosions?
Yeah. Do you think that's...
Well, I have to ask you again. Like, are you saying, should Twitch have been allowed to ban them for that? Or would I have banned them for that if I was in charge? Because the second one, the answer is no, but that's meaningless.
Do you think that is mean-spirited? Because I assume that when you
it doesn't matter.
The blue-eyed thing...
No, Jakub scammed. What do you mean, scammed? The Jakub is at the end. I've said, we're not supplanting drama content with gameplay content. Less people are interested in gameplay content. That's why we do a goal, and there's an extra bit of gameplay content at the end. Okay? Which means scammed. Goofy.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. Show me one material reason why this matters to Twitch's decision.
Fewer, please fuck yourself, okay?
It is fucking ridiculous.
Okay, so you resent the spirit in which they banned them. Who fucking cares? What planet do you think they're on where this counts for anything?
Because it's fucking ridiculous to actually give someone a ban and make a statement.
Hey,
about,
go stand outside. Go stand outside of Twitch headquarters with a sign. Okay, tell me how it goes. What do you want?
What?
What do you want? What do you think? What do you want exactly? I'm sorry. Like, here's the deal. Here's the deal. We have no power whatsoever over how Twitch enforces its TOS. These people, in their infinite wisdom, decided to do as much as they could to give Twitch the pretext to penalize them if they had held their feet held to the fire. That's it.
I mean,
that's the whole thing.
They did as much as they could. I mean, they did.
Hey, here's a question for you. Here's a question for you.
You know, they didn't title the panel "Death to America" and praise Osama bin Laden for, you know, like they could have done a lot fucking more. The point is that, like,
didn't half of these people catch bans literally for reading that Osama bin Laden letter to the US? That seems like a very bad example to bring up, Vadim.
That what you just saw was pretty representative of how they were making it. By the way, am I on camera now, or do I need to kind of stop sharing? I can stop.
You can stop sharing, but you are on camera.
Okay, cool. So what I'm saying is that like that joke right there, and I have other parts that are, you know, that kind of speak to this as well. The entire panel was most of them just cracking jokes like that about their own community. And there was nothing, like, if you actually like watch it without any like kind of like looking at it through the lens of them actually like it becomes very clear that there was no actual like the actual racist like the fact that like everybody on the tier list, like you had people from different sorry, you know what? Go ahead, talk.
No, take your time. Take a breath. Think of through what you're gonna say.
Yeah. The fact that you had that was like I mean, I guess the reason why I showed it is because that if they were engaging in a centralization of Arabs, that's the way in which they were doing it. And I think that people like who are of like we see that all the time. We see all sorts of podcasts where people are allowed to make jokes about their own community, and we realize that in the context in which they're joking, they're not being a Candace Owens like you brought up earlier. They're not you know, they're actually exploring elements of their experience as you know, as a group. And that's what, when you ask like what good comes from something like this, that's what good comes from their podcast in general.
The good comes from a couple of Twitch. The good comes from a bunch of Twitch personalities being able to make jokes that racialize and essentialize Arabs without the input of virtually anybody else, right? Because they're Twitch personalities. So, well, know, obviously that's important for. I mean, obviously, it's important for a collective understanding of cultures to have this taking place in the context of them racially essentializing the people who are at the center of whole communities on social media and whatnot. That's a positive thing. This is torturous. Listening to try and say something, dude. Like, cut him some slack, okay? This guy's not slept in days, and every time he does sleep, it's just total. He's plunged into a world of terror, hours of terror. Okay, give him a break. Oh, and also, by the way, once again, giving like Twitch a pretext for classifying all of them as being just cultivating an atmosphere of anti-Semitism. Falsely or not, intentionally or not, it doesn't matter. It's providing a pretext for that.
Are you talking about with that one joke about the nose?
Here's a question for you. So Frogan was on that panel. Which of those streamers had anything to say about Frogan's tweet supporting October 7th? You're all just buddy afterwards. That should cause some friction, no?
Look, are you saying that they should have?
I'm just asking a question.
Discussed that tweet on stage?
I'm actually asking a question if they discussed that ever, or if is that something they're kind of fine with?
I think that tweet, even though that I think it was pretty.
If
like,
you're Jewish
awful,
and you have that position, there's like a 50-50.
I think that
you actually
what she was trying to say
are going to have to deal with the ire
like,
of your family.
hey,
I'm Jewish, my dad's been a Zionist
how can
his
you
whole life. When October 7th happened, he said, "I loved Hamas."
So they're watching Denim's clips in the background.
And now he's against Israel.
The situation in Gaza to change for the better without some sort of some sort of active resistance. You know, I don't know if when that was tweeted, if she you know, like how far into things it was. It's definitely gross to tweet that in the.
Indulge me for a second, will you?
Sure. It definitely is like pretty.
Indulge me now for a second, would you?
That in the in what?
Watch the screen, would you? You'll have to clip watch stream.
Okay, sure.
Tell me when.
Go for it.
If you're Jewish and you have that position, there's like a 50-50. You actually are going to have to deal with the ire of your family. I'm Jewish. My dad's been a Zionist his whole life. When October 7th happened, he said, "I loved Hamas," and now he's against Israel. Let's go, Dad. Let's go. Okay, Dad, sit down and eat your sabra. Stop. Stop. It looks like
Okay. You don't see how that could be taken very badly?
Can you play it again, please?
The person said their father after October 7th said they loved Hamas, and she said, let's go.
I want to hear it again.
Israel.
No, start it from the beginning.
His whole life on October 7th happened. He said to have to deal with
Vadim, fucking pay attention, retard. God, it's not helpful. This idiot does not just fucking focus. Holy shit. I won't let Sunday explain it to him. Bro, fucking hell.
ire of your family. I'm Jewish. My dad's been a Zionist his whole life. When October 7th happened, he said, I loved Hamas, and now he's against Israel. Let's go, Dad. Let's go. Okay, Denim, sit down and eat your sabra. Stop.
Okay, so are you saying that it's bad that she thinks that this dad is not
She was approving of somebody who says they love Hamas in the wake of a whole bunch of Israeli civilians being massacred by Hamas, dude.
And then it also says, sit down and eat your sabra, to say, like, stop supporting Hamas.
I don't... Wait. First of all, that's not... This is like, she's clearly talking about the panel here.
No,
this is not...
Well, she's not. She's actually responding to a comment in her chat that was saying, I'm gonna let you watch this again. Listen to this again, and pay close attention to the words, not to the frozen image on the screen that she's not watching as she's saying this, okay?
All right.
If you're Jewish and you have that position, there's like a 50-50. You actually are going to have to deal with the ire of your family. I'm Jewish. My dad's been a Zionist his whole life. When October 7th happened,
If his brain is that much of a mess, he should just keep his mouth shut and not try to debate people obviously smarter than him.
I don't know why you would jump on streams if you're like totally fried. If your brain's broken, I don't know why you'd be jumping on live streams to debate.
Said, I loved Hamas, and now he's against Israel. Let's go, Dad. Let's go.
So
let me walk you through how I would defend this, by the way, okay?
Yeah, no.
Probably, if I may.
Don't just tell me how you would defend it. What I like when I hear that, I don't think that person is saying love Hamas in like there's like an element of hyperbole and jokingness to that. Like I can't like actually imagine that anyone who was a fervent was I guess. Sometimes I kind of hesitate to use the word Zionist because
someone said,
what's that?
Someone said, after October 7th, their father said, loved Hamas and is against Israel. Yay, go Dad. That was what Denim said. Now, if I were in the position of wanting to defend Denims, I'd go this route. Denims is not very smart in how she portrays what she is saying, and probably she thought she was just cheering on the dad for being critical of Israel's excesses in Gaza. I, however, I'm not sympathetic to Denims. I don't have to say that, because I also know she was on a stage and no issue whatever with somebody actually glorifying October 7th directly. But none of this matters, though, because the question is whether or not...
Hey, I've got a question for you. Do you think that the Destiny subreddit, is this just something that you would agree with, that they often put things out of context into...
Is this clip out of context, though? Okay, what a retarded fucking point. Dude, I hate DG as much as the next guy, but holy shit, going, oh, well, look where it's posted. Look where it's posted. Talk about you're being shown a specific clip. If you've got no rebuttal to a specific clip, then just shut the fuck up, dude. So crazy.
It
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
that
matter.
Is something that they do. Do you agree with that? Do you agree that that's something that they often do?
Sure. They've done it with me before.
Okay, awesome. All right. Okay,
but it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter, Vadim. It does matter. But it doesn't.
It does matter.
I'm going to explain why it doesn't matter.
Because
it was clipped out of context, actually, but it oddly makes the point better. What was the context? What's the additional context?
Only saying it would make it so, Vadim, but it doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why. Because if Twitch sees that somebody is going, oh, someone said they loved Hamas and is against Israel after October 7th, hey, Dad, let's go. They're not going to be able to defend this if somebody points this out and says this is anti-Semitic. They're going to ban this person. They're going to be within their rights to do so. And frankly, it's probably the wise decision. And more to the point, if they don't,
you go into it.
That reflects badly on Twitch. And people like this continuing to make statements like this reflects badly on me and you.
Yeah, man, this is a little bit of a bummer because I just think that the way in which you are looking at this is so, it's just going to be incredibly difficult. If someone like yourself, who I would expect to kind of look at this through different eyes, is so like hyper strict about a clip like that, then these people are not going to be able to, like, these people will be...
Let's hear it one more time, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
His whole life on October 7th happened. He said, I loved Hamas, and now he's against Israel.
So she misspoke there, right? Like he did not love Hamas throughout his life.
Right.
Right. So she misspoke a little bit there. And yeah, that is like, I don't know why one should take that 100% seriously. Like, do you actually think that this father that she's talking about literally loves Hamas, or do you think that that was kind of shorthand for
just joking, guys? Just,
like my dad
memes,
is
man.
just kind of
just memes,
not
man.
on.
We don't
like,
I don't actually love Hamas. I just say I love Hamas and hang out with people who support October 7th. It's just memes, man.
Actually, what the commenter was saying is that the dad said that son, I'm presuming, just loved Hamas, and now after October 7th is against Israel. The problem is that, again, this doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If this thing can be read by Twitch or can be pointed to by other people as if it's that thing, Twitch doesn't have a basis for defending it.
It absolutely does, because like I could say, like if I was talking in a certain context on and hey, I don't, this is not my thing. Do not clip this. But you know, like if I could like potentially make a joke like, oh yeah, I love Hamas because of the fact that when you are on the side of Palestine, people often kind of like they strawman you, or they portray you as someone who is like basically a terrorist sympathizer and whatnot. So people.
So what's this? The dad was accusing the kid of loving Hamas and then changed to being against Israel. Everyone misheard it. Okay.
Like little shorthand jokes like that all the time. I like the fact that you're taking this little like I don't think that she is actually saying like, yeah, go dad.
It
like
doesn't matter.
Your dad is a terrorist sympathizer.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. What do you like people like you're acting like,
because the only thing,
yeah, exactly. It's funny how it always gets like framed as you're pro or anti-Israel. That is how it always gets framed. It's like that's not what it should really be about. It should be about trying to find the most, you know, amicable, peaceful, humane solution for the people that live in that region, for all the people that live in that region. It's like so stupid to frame it as pro or anti-Israel.
The thing that matters, the only rules that really matter are these: what a man can do and what a man can't do. And I can't make
it honestly just it just shows the thinking. It just so shows the thinking.
These people. You can't change their TOS or how they enforce it, and we can't make all the people who are able to take these statements and make them and spin them into this. We can't make them go away. And so what Denims is doing by praising someone for being anti-Israel, specifically with reference to after October 7th, just to be clear, because you get away from the first part, right? Because that's a misspeak, that's a misread. That is the context that they are removing on the Destiny subreddit. They are saying, I am not finished speaking. Maybe you should take the opportunity while I'm speaking to have a little micro nap. Let me finish my sentence, please. They are saying that Denims is approving of the person loving Hamas. The caller is saying, my father used to call me pro-Hamas, or said I loved Hamas, and now he's against Israel after October 7th. But she is saying, yay, dad, for being anti-Israel after October 7th. Not after the bombings, not after 40,000 dead, but after October 7th in particular. Twitch is now supposed to take this and go, no, actually, wait, we did some calculations, and this is what she actually meant, to thousands of people, a whole ton of like really big figures, more than thousands, millions, a whole ton of really big figures going after them when they have an ambience of Hassan glazing the Houthi kid. You have Frogan glorifying October 7th. You have people making racially essentializing comments on a big panel that's being pointed to. What are they supposed to do? They're supposed to just like take the hit for who? For them? Why? This doesn't even help me. I don't like these people representing me. Like all of this reflects badly on us. None of this is good, and it creates the pretext for justifying just wiping them off of these platforms. Because they don't own these platforms. They don't have a right to them. They have to play by the rules like everybody else or they get kicked.
That's what's happening here. That's exactly what's happening here. They are taking a false pretext to clamp just
how's it a false pretext? Where's the false pretext? It's not false, dude. Where's the
and it's like
dude, this guy's actually gonna cry again.
October 7th. That like you're acting as though that
the worst thing about October 7th is how it's going to affect all these poor Middle Eastern streamers. I think the most heartbreaking thing about October 7th is that it's affecting these poor Middle Eastern streamers just so bad. They're getting put in such a bad position. I think that's truly the most heartbreaking thing about October 7th.
Necessitates trying to think of the right words. That the like you said that they didn't say after the bombings, after this, after that.
I'm playing on the Norm Macdonald joke. Reese says about the trans community. I'm referencing that.
But after October 7th, that's when those things occurred.
Oh, they meant October 7th, 1996, of course.
No, what I'm saying is that like that statement does not necessarily like to read into that and to think that he thought after it was the day he thought that and not after all the things that came after that.
It doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
What I mean it doesn't matter is that Twitch sees someone saying, yay, person's against Israel after October 7th. This does not give Twitch enough tools to work with. This does not give Twitch. This does not. I'm not this rigid. We're not talking about how I'm rigid. I don't run Twitch, dude.
These sorts of.
If you're asking me would I ban denims for this sentence, the answer is no, but it doesn't matter.
99% of streamers would get.
Vadim, who are you whining to? Nobody cares. Vadim,
that is very motivated.
Nobody's watching this. Nobody cares about this. Chill. Vadim, I don't run Twitch. You can yell at me about how unfair you think it is till the cows come home. It does not matter.
I'm actually like the reason why I'm kind of, aside from the fact that I get a little frustrated because of the fact that like when my I have this like difficulty kind of engaging due to my you mentioned that raising my voice because of that, but also I just like the fact that you are taking these things and you are kind of just assigning the like worst. Like you're going.
I'm not assigning anything. I'm not assigning anything. I'm telling you what Twitch is dealing with.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No.
You're taking a clip that is on the Destiny subreddit, which has lots of bad faith.
I pointed out one. Vadim, you're not paying attention to me. I pointed out one. Vadim, you're not listening to me. I pointed out one of those mischaracterizations, but it doesn't matter because what Twitch has is someone going against Israel after October 7th and her going yay, and that gets reported. That's what they see. That's all that matters. And again, we have no reason to have any particular level. Please, for the love of God, man, just wait 5 goddamn seconds. Okay, I'm like interrupting's fine. It's my bread and butter. But like at a certain point, this is just headache inducing. Like just chill.
All right. Sorry.
I get it. You think it should matter. I don't fucking care. Nobody fucking cares. Relax. What Twitch is going to see is person going yay after person says against Israel after October 7th. That's it. In the context of racially essentializing with Arab coded to like Sabra with people who are like, yeah, October 7th was a revolution. Lefties are just being cucks. That's it. Okay. There's nothing else to talk about here. They already burned the pier they're standing on. Okay. We don't have a basis. We don't have the political capital or whatever to defend this. And Twitch doesn't have that or the inclination. So it's over. They're on a platform that they do not own and they are playing with fire because they're dumb, privileged idiots who think they're invincible. That's it. And frankly, I'm fine with them getting banned. I'm fine with them getting banned permanently because they make me look bad and scorch the earth ahead of everybody else before they're even able to get to the table.
So true.
Yeah, man. I think that you are completely mischaracterizing the panel. I think that like
I didn't characterize the panel. I'm talking about what Twitch sees. Like Jesus, man. Your response was that it's a joke. Your response was that it's a joke. My response is it doesn't matter if it's a joke. It is not on Twitch to be interpreting them charitably. That's not how this works.
Would it be okay?
Dude, this is actually just pulling teeth. It's fucking crazy. Talking to this guy is genuine. Like, this is 2 hours, 20 minutes in. At this point, I'm surprised Sunday's not just fucking screaming at this guy at this point. It's so fucking painful. Trying to get this guy to even like follow a live. He just like responds with incredulity. Like, I can't believe you're characterizing the panel this way. Don't you think it's like okay for them to do this though? Why don't you think that's okay? It's like he's not actually making any fucking points.
Look. Do you at least? Let's say this, okay?
Do you at least make an argument, a positive argument, say it is this way because? Not stop with the. Okay, but don't you think? No, I don't think. I don't want to think. Shut up, Vadim. Tell me what to think.
But let's just grant you this. I know you will disagree with this being the case right now, but I want to know if you just imagine that you believe this was the case. Okay, do you think that there could be a situation in which Arab streamers were the victim of a like in the same way that let me ask you this: do you think that the protests that both the ADL
stop for your own good, stop, write it down, think about it, take 5 minutes, okay? Just whatever you're doing, think about it.
If you want to resume this conversation another time,
I really don't. This is awful. Listen, okay, do you think it is possible for our side to be embarrassed and for that to be a political disadvantage?
Absolutely. Okay. For instance, like I think that there are all kinds of ways that like I don't know, like there's a lot of people online who overreact and kind of, I mean, there's that whole stereotype of, I don't know, woke SJW people. And I think most of the time when people use those terms to describe people, those people are idiots. But however, I like will totally like admit that there are a lot of people who take things too seriously. And in the process of like kind of like trying to do the right thing, they kind of make our side look bad. I absolutely believe that. And I don't think that yeah. So so what's the next part that you wanted to say?
I don't even know, dude. I'm just like What is the point? What is your desired end of this conversation? Like, explain this to me. Like, what, you want me to say? Oh, I think that's actually ridiculous. They were clearly telling jokes that were germane to their lived experience as Arabs, except for the ones who aren't Arabs, and except for the ones who are making jokes about Arab groups that are not represented on the panel, perhaps, and also the people who are being classified as not Arab on the basis of cultural judgments or political judgments, et cetera.
I think you're taking a conversation that, like, aspects of a conversation that if you saw the same thing going on in the context of, like, either another group of people or another group altogether who were doing just kind of joking.
It doesn't matter. It's not Twitch's job to indulge that. It is not Twitch's job to make special exceptions for that.
You would not have a problem with it.
It is not what I have a problem with is immaterial. It is not Twitch's job to facilitate.
It is. No, I'm not talking to you, dude. I'm not talking to you, dude, as like some sort of representative for Twitch. I'm talking to you as yourself. And the reason why I've kind of gotten as like maybe like just a little
it was a sponsored panel. It was a sponsored panel. It's not.
It's because you have made statements that make it sound like, yeah, these people totally should have gotten this way, and like these people are actually very good. Well, okay, Frogan taking her away from the equation, but these other people, these other people are
fucking spit it out.
Very good representatives of their side.
Because those very good representatives to set themselves up to be used as an illustration for how anti-Semitic pro-Palestinians
are. No, they're not.
And
how are they good representatives? How is fucking Denims a good representative of the you know, fucking Gaza enjoyer side? That's what I'm gonna call it. So pro-Israel or anti-Israel. It's gonna be Israel enjoyer or Gaza enjoyer. Okay, that's what we're going with. How is she a good representative of the Gaza enjoyer side? How is Capri Sun Pappy, who was like totally fucking embarrassed himself a bunch of times, a good representative of the Gaza enjoyer side?
Managed to get the entirety of Twitch punishing them for 30 days. And I don't see any angle in this in which we've come out the better for it.
I mean, look, Ethan Klein, okay? Ethan Klein himself. I actually have been a fan of H3 in the past, and the dude's been personally nice to me.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to, by saying this, I'm not trying to kind of, like, I don't want him to receive the same treatment, but he said worse things than Frogan has about vets. He said worse things about vets. He's also...
So what?
So I don't think that anyone who was on a panel with him should be like in a position, and even if they collaborated on a podcast together and they were on a Twitch panel, I don't think that those people
what did he say about vets recently? What did he say about,
it would be fair to kind of say like,
what did he say about vets recently? What did you say about vets recently?
What did I say about vets?
What did Ethan say about vets recently?
He made all sorts of jokes that had to do with PTSD.
You mean jokes about PTSD? Okay. There's a difference between making jokes about PTSD and wishing people PTSD. Do we agree with that?
Well, wait. You were the one who was saying.
Yes
that,
or no? Is there a difference between making a joke about PTSD and wishing PTSD on someone?
Because I've already been talking about.
Because we're not talking about intention. We're talking about
intention. That's about the content of a statement, dude.
Perlocution. Do you know what those mean?
No, I don't. But I think that
We're talking about what someone says versus what the act they are performing when they say it is. Right? So somebody could, for example, be making jokes about PTSD out of deep hatred for veterans, and somebody could be making jokes about PTSD out of solidarity with veterans because they're a veteran themselves and they're just laughing it up with them. You know, sharing a laugh about a shared experience. Okay, but on the flip side, I really wasn't finished speaking. It would help. It would really help in the conversation if you would let me like finish this thought.
Don't you want to know? Like his joke. I am not.
How about just shut the fuck up? Like, why is a guy who can't get a full sentence out constantly fucking interrupting? Wait for somebody to finish, think about what you're going to say, and then talk.
Again, I don't have...
There's a difference between jokes and wishing harm. This is very simple. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, Vadim. But here's the kicker, Vadim. Here's the kicker, Vadim. It is up to Twitch's moderation to decide where that line is. And we have no say in this because Twitch is not ours.
Suddenly, whether or not people are making jokes matters in a context where you're defending Ethan for something that you haven't seen.
I'm not defending Ethan.
But no, you are, though.
No, if you were paying attention, which I know you weren't, I was specifically saying that he could be making those jokes with the most hateful intentions possible. However, from Twitch's angle, what they're witnessing are jokes referencing PTSD versus statements wishing PTSD, i.e. harm, on people, especially people who are protected class in America. which creates an additional problem for Twitch.
Do you think that do you think it's wrong?
That's real.
Holy crap, Sunday is a saint. Every time this moron interrupts him is driving me mad, and I am just a viewer.
Thank you.
For a for someone who has been who has suffered the effect of no, it does matter.
We're not talking about what I think is wrong. You're not paying attention to what I said.
I think that it is perfectly okay for a person if they think that like it is basically okay to say, you know what, if somebody went into war and realizes that they did something shitty, that they partook in war crimes and killed people that they didn't have to kill, and they understand that, and they like.
But if they didn't, if they're really dumb and they bought into American propaganda, and they said, I think we were doing a good job over there, then it's okay to wish that they got PTSD. What are you, stupid?
I think
that's your argument. That's so dumb.
No, I think it is like understandable for anyone who has paid the price for that kind of a thing to kind of say like, hey, if you partook in this like slaughter, just this like really this totally like took advantage.
So you can feel like that's okay to say, according to Twitch's moderation standards and the standards of advertisers and the standards of like American law. I mean, well, not about saying it necessarily. You can probably say it, but obviously veterans are a still protected class under law. It's not. This is not the case. So what do you think? Oh, I kind of get her argument. It's kind of fucking irrelevant, Vadim.
Just took orders and man.
We're gonna go on another thing about how you're underslept, or what's the deal here?
No, I've said that a million times, and that is the case. But I probably should.
Tactical retreat.
What?
Tactical retreat.
Tactical retreat? What do you mean? You mean like
tuck it out? Are you done for the night?
Leave the cool.
Well, I should have cut this off a while ago. Obviously,
I agree.
Like I did think that maybe there was a way to kind of, I was totally expecting because of your.
What's the nature of your insomnia? What's going on with you?
Oh,
why can't you sleep?
Why are we talking about that?
We've talked about it a lot tonight. I just figured we may as well dig into that a little bit. I suffer from insomnia too. Let's talk about our culture, okay?
We can take a second for it. You know that insomnia technically means just not, because a lot of people think that insomnia means that you just can't go to sleep. But insomnia, basically, I have, it might be what's called exploding head syndrome. I have over and over again as I am trying to go to sleep, I have these this like surge of electricity in, or what feels like that in my brain, and it causes me usually to shout aloud, often dozens, on the worst days, like literally 100 or more times over the course of an evening. And it happens every time I get to the point where I am just about to fall asleep, and it's like I have like a microsecond of sleep, and then it's just like bam, and that's kind of what it is. I've been dealing with that for over 20 years now. And it is just something that I take medication for it. But also I had a friend who was in a really bad place last night. And so I basically spent the majority of the evening talking with them and being kind of a good friend. And I had another day, 2 days before that, where I didn't sleep well. And so...
Have you ever gotten...
Does Vadim have psychic powers like Ted saw?
Sleep study done?
Yeah, I've gotten like 5 sleep studies done. And it just, on days like this, I'm like, what?
Go on.
On days like this, again, like if I had to do it over, I would have kind of made sure that I was just,
I'm going to be honest with you, Vadim. I think this conversation would have gone exactly the same way. I don't think the issue is with you being underslept. I think the issue is with you being obtuse. You're not paying attention to the arguments I'm making, and you're trying to make me morally condemn Twitch when it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I don't care about you morally condemning Twitch so much.
What are you asking me for? Just to say it's not fair? That's not fair.
I think that it is. And yes, this conversation would have gone much differently. I would have been able to, I recognize that, I just kind of am doing a piss poor job of explaining my points, and like kind of the stammering and whatnot just does not help at all.
That's fine. No, you're fine. So don't be self-conscious about your stammering. You're getting your point across fine. The problem is your point's not good here. That's the issue.
No, I mean the point, like the fact that you are so like these.
At no point in this conversation am I having trouble following what you're saying. The problem is that these aren't adequate answers to the points I'm making.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you're not going to look at it that way if you think that these people are guilty of you're.
I've actually been steadfast this entire Vadim. I've been steadfast this entire conversation that it is immaterial what their intentions were. What they said gave Twitch all the pretext they need in the eyes of everyone to ban them. That's it.
Yeah, but at the same time,
in fact, just so you know, just FYI, the fact
these people were what?
At the same time, the fact that someone like Frogan was able to glorify October 7th and not be banned for that long speaks to special treatment for people in their camp. That also looks really bad.
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
The fact that Frogan was only banned at the point of this panel and not for the entire year in which he had said October 7th is revolution and leftists need to stop being cucks about it, which is effectively the takeaway of her tweet.
Are people allowed to be
pro-murdering Israeli citizens while on Twitch? That's up to Twitch to decide. I personally don't think it was the wrong decision to ban her on that basis.
They're banned for off-platform conduct, you fucking retard. Vadim's no ways Vadim about to say. If you don't know fucking anything about Twitch moderation, then just shut the fuck up and don't argue about it, dude.
I think it was the wrong decision to leave it for that long.
Question is it can you get banned for behavior off of Twitch?
Sure, I think that's perfectly appropriate.
Yes, you can.
So for
yes,
example,
it's in the TOS.
Okay.
It's even in the TOS. It's explicitly there.
Nick Fuentes. If he was a perfectly good boy on Twitch, but did everything else that he's doing elsewhere, I think it is perfectly appropriate to ban him. Completely.
Yeah, I see your case, but I just I don't know. I mean, I definitely think that my intention on talking about this was like the fact that you continually bring that back up in contrast to the panel is like the people on the panel.
The panel's not in a vacuum. The response to the panel was inflected by the other things that were happening on Twitch and were allowed to happen on Twitch, and that people on the panel were doing on Twitch. That's it.
No,
yeah,
it's not. This entire thing has been motivated chiefly by Islamophobia.
Doesn't matter.
And
I agree. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And by the way, it being motivated by Islamophobia.
I think it's motivated by Islamophobia. I think most of this is, you could say it's motivated by like pro-Zionism. Maybe I could see the argument for. It's motivated by pro-Zionism. Like, if you think all of, like the DJs and shit are like Zionists, I don't think it's about Islamophobia. I really don't.
It's not a byway of defending those streamers either. It doesn't matter. None of this matters.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wouldn't be if they actually conducted a panel that was worthy of like, that was genuinely racist, then, or, genuinely anti-Semitic, then yeah, you're right. That wouldn't matter. But it's like that. All
right, Vadim.
All this happened.
Vadim.
Yeah.
Go to bed. Have a good night. Nice talking. We'll chat later, okay? We'll pick this up at some point in the future.
Okay. I would like to just give me 2 seconds, okay? Yeah, I'd like to come back and talk about this. I mean, obviously, I am not a. And this.
I just checked Twitter, and there is a tweet that says you can only bring one back. Who do you choose? And it has a picture of George Floyd and a picture of Hitler.
Is actually another thing about my sleep issues is that sometimes I kind of I do when I'm in this sort of like headspace. I kind of do talk long without kind of like realizing.
Vadim, listen to me very carefully, okay? This is the principal disagreement you and I have. You are treating people with what you think are the right positions as if they should be given special charity when they are not playing by the rules that everybody else has to play by. And the rules that everybody has to play by, to be clear, are not Twitch's rules. The rules are this: if you can be framed as doing a bad thing, you are doing a bad thing. Numbers are all that matters at the end of the day. If you are giving the general impression to people who are opposed to you or to people who are allied with you that, for example, you are okay with racial centralization or anti-Semitism, etc., whatever you like, then that is what you are. That's how this works. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Look.
Listen to me. I'm not done.
Did you just say that if you do something that can be framed poorly, that you did that thing?
It's successfully framed poorly, but I don't even think it was framed poorly. I think glorifying October 7th. I think glorifying October 7th is that is a hard one to recontextualize well. I'm sorry.
People, that is such like people who say things like from the river to the sea or
river to the sea. River to the sea is in Likud platform. That doesn't where it's formerly in Likud's platform. That doesn't matter.
Exactly.
No. There's a difference. Hang on, Vadim. There are things you have no control over, and that's what people lie about you. But there's things you do have control over. And glorifying October 7th out of hand because it was done by people you decided were the good guys because victims is something they had control over, and they chose to do. That was a stupid and callous decision that they made that threw, by the way, their side under the bus because they weren't paying attention to the actual consequences of what they were saying.
Now this is absurd, dude.
It's not. This is basic prudence, actually.
Because, dude, all these other creators you're dragging them into this, and they never said that. Like they it's just you're acting like they're all Frogan.
Are they all on stage? Hey,
and also there's no context in which someone what?
Vadim, are they on a panel with Frogan in the wake of her saying this, with a panel that says Arab coded, asks permission, and likes Sabra? Yes, they are. Are they putting Arab people lower down the list based on their political judgments of them? Yes, they are. Is it a joke? Who cares? It doesn't matter.
No. They're putting people for all sorts of reasons down there. Like,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But those are some of the reasons. But some of the Arabs that they put lower were because of political disagreements, specifically relating to the Israel-Palestine conflict and how much they side with Jews. Dude,
it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't matter. Really. How does it matter? How does it matter? No, don't tell me why you think it's unfair. How does it matter?
It matters because of the fact that there are all kinds of streams and individuals who can make similar, can have similar conversations and do the same sort of like thing, and people will understand that like the humor is not.
Really? It doesn't seem like people understand that, Vadim. It kind of seems like the opposite. I don't see a whole lot of people standing up to where are the hordes standing up to defend? Where are the hordes of people standing up to defend the people in the panel?
Just like people will hear people saying from the river to the sea and insist that pro-Palestine demonstrators are being anti-Semitic, or when they say globalize the Intifada or whatnot. That's like
pro-Palestine demonstrators saying from the river to the sea is very unwise, by the way. Just so you know, it's not something I would spend time discussing, but it's a very unwise slogan because what it says.
Those people, like the overwhelming majority of people,
it was a mistake.
Say that want peace and want peace and freedom for everybody.
Yeah, but that's not what the statement means, does it? That's not what it means, though, does it, Vadim? It doesn't mean peace and happy fun times for everyone in the region. No, it means death to it. It means like, dude.
The Intifada or whatnot. That's like
pro-Palestine demonstrators saying from the river to the sea is very unwise, by the way. Just so you know, it's not something I would spend time discussing, but it's a very unwise slogan because what it says.
Those people, like the overwhelming majority of people.
Is he saying that should absolutely be normalized? Is that what you just said there?
I would spend time contesting, but it's a very unwise slogan because what it says.
Those people
that should be normalized. Calling for the complete destruction, the complete wiping out of Israel should be normalized, according to Vadim. I'm sorry. So, at what point do you just call them an anti-Semite? Like, at what point do you just call it anti-Semitic? You're just. It should be normalized to call for the complete destruction of Israel. Like, you want just a bunch of Jews to suffer? Like, what's the point here?
Like the overwhelming majority of people.
It was a mistake.
Say that want peace.
It doesn't matter.
And for everybody.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. It does matter.
When we're talking about things that you should do versus things you shouldn't do, your intentions don't matter. Because the thing you're running up against is the environment that you're playing in, not your own sense of self-righteousness, your own sense of what's appropriate.
Yeah. Dude,
no, obviously free Palestine is not a bad thing to say. Saying you want an end to the occupation and violence, saying free Palestine, that's not the same as saying from the river to the sea.
The thing is that people this is why I said that the
from the river to the sea, Vadim, from the river to the sea, from the river to the Vadim, please. From the river to the sea makes people think of painting the map in EU4. Okay? When people hear that, it is up to their goodwill to determine whether or not they mean we want a peaceable and equitable one-state solution in which all Palestinians are citizens with equal rights as non-Arab Israelis, or they want Israel wiped off the map and a new Arab state to take its place. And unfortunately, the slogan does not bear that content out specifically.
You think the same thing about Free Palestine, about the term Free Palestine?
No.
Like, no. I assumed you didn't, but there are tons of people who will hear that.
But Free Palestine doesn't.
There isn't a reasonable argument that Free Palestine means that the wiping out of Israel. From the river to the sea, literally you are calling for the end of Israel, essentially. You're saying, listen, this needs to stop. Get rid of all of that now.
Free Palestine doesn't conjure the image of a geographic location being swept by a wave of what? We just don't know. It doesn't say. It's so easily represented in a scary way. It does sound kind of scary. And case in point, Likud uses the same phrase. Case in point, Likud uses the same phrase, and it is scary when Likud does it.
Yeah, same reason.
That's what Professor Flowers ran into, by the way. That's the mistake Professor Flowers made, by the way.
Yeah, I think that from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free is incredibly innocuous. People who freak out about it are
innocuous. What do you mean by innocuous? It's a slogan.
Yeah, it's an innocuous slogan. It's a slogan that is actually like just very like when demonstrators say that the overwhelming majority of people who do mean that in like the most peaceful way possible. And
sure. So,
and it is
death to Israel peacefully.
How does that make that a smart slogan?
I didn't realize that was
how does that make that a smart slogan? Explain this to me. Like, I'm sorry, you seem to be under the impression that I'm saying, well, Vadim, you seem to be under the impression that I am making some statement about the morality of the people saying the slogan. That's a very stupid inference to make, given the nature of the conversation we've been having so far.
I think you're like almost tone policing, or you're. I mean, now it's not surprising that you're saying things like this to me, given like you like.
Remember when you were talking about the embarrassing woke people, SJW types, a while ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Countering an argument about this is an unwise way to demonstrate when we have categorically lost over the past year, just so you know. Any political gains that have been made for the pro-Palestine side have been the result of Israel's excesses, not the result of people who have been advocating for them in the West. Just to be clear. Saying that, well, that's tone policing is the most embarrassing brain-dead retort to that. Because what I'm specifically pointing out is that the words that we have chosen to use, or the words that other people have chosen to use, or the claims or statements they have decided to make in public, have been used to great effect to delegitimize their entire movement. And they have by this point. That's established. There is nobody standing up to defend the people on that panel. Nobody. Dude, it's over.
Dude, if you are going to have that attitude towards from the river to the sea, like if that's your outlook on it, then you're going to do, I think you're going to do exactly what...
Okay, if you're... Okay, look, from the river to the sea has very, very clear geographic implications. Now, what those implications are is anyone's guess depending on who you're talking about. So it is basically up to whoever has the biggest megaphone to determine what that means. And unfortunately, the people who have the biggest megaphone have said October 7th was a revolution.
You are playing into you are
no. Vadim is already you are playing into by defending this retarded shit, horrific optics, just like the most insane statements. You are playing into it, Vadim. You're making it seem like every lefty wants to. Dude,
are playing into
You are.
Yes.
You are.
Yes, you are.
No, you are. Because the reason why I'm saying from the river to the sea is a bad slogan is because it is exactly the slogan a pro-Israel person would want you to make, would want you to use. It's perfect.
Would you mind? I think that this would actually be good, and this would be a good way to kind of like
that's just true.
De-escalate a little bit. And maybe end things on a positive note, okay? Have you ever heard of the comedian Sammy Obeid? Okay, well, he has a hilarious comedian. He's like genuinely one of the funniest motherfuckers I have seen.
Literally any time someone says this, you know they are such a dog shit comedian. Every time someone says, oh, they're one of the funniest motherfuckers. Every time that phrase... It's, you know, every time the comedian they're talking about is not funny, and that person has a terrible sense of humor.
Dude, if that's your opinion, man, if you're gonna say that kill all the grabber...
Let's... Do we need that phrase in there? Do we need that phrase? I just about that phrase, about the decaying and the...
Past, like, new comedians that I've seen in the past year. And he has a really great bit about From the River to the Sea. And I think I have I'd like to see what you think of it, okay? Because I do think that you would, at the very least, enjoy this. And maybe you could, this would
Why is he trying to show him a comedy bit?
Okay, well, we'll finish up after we talk about this. Okay. Every time I hear people say
Your stream's frozen, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, okay, yeah, that happens sometimes. So this is 50 seconds long, and I want to see, this is his, Vadim,
I don't want to.
Dude, just...
Vadim, we've been talking for 3 hours. I don't want to.
Yeah, but look, this is the last thing. Okay?
Dude.
I'm listening.
Here we go.
solution with the settlements. It's a struggle now between right-wing ethno-nationalism and liberal ethno-nationalism, and I don't approve of either. An essential element of democracy is equal rights. Today I support one democratic state from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, with equal rights for all its citizens, regardless of religion and ethnicity. The experience that my family and I had of living together.
Yes, if you sit there and say, that's totally reasonable, it's fine to... That's a reasonable thing to say, that you want equal rights for all Arabs and Jews living in that land, all Muslims and Jews living in that land, that you want them all to have access to the same infrastructure, the same, all the same first world, you don't want these people to be fucked second-class citizens that are just in some occupied territory with all their shit controlled. Obviously, totally reasonable. If you lay out that whole thing, just going from the river to the sea. You're not laying out that whole thing. And that slogan is determined by the dominant narrative. The meaning of that slogan is going to be determined by whatever the dominant narrative is. And that narrative has been lost to the most insane people. So you kind of have to work with that.
Together, coexisting with Arabs gives me reason for hope that what happened once in the Middle East can happen again. I used to spend
good for every Shlaim, but that doesn't speak to how people are going to interpret other people saying this. Like, that's one person who invoked the slogan. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
You're right. I thought that was a clip where he was kind of you
thought it was the clip where he was joking about whether or not Rashid Khalidi was Arab coded or liked Sabra, right?
It's like, this is so easily explained with All Lives Matter, right? It's literally the same thing. It's the same thing. You can sit there and have an All Lives Matter position, and that could be a totally reasonable, totally good position. If you sit there and explain, I don't think that, I think police violence is a problem when it happens to anyone. Obviously, it happens more often to black people, and I think that's an issue that specifically needs to be addressed. But fundamentally, I think we should be advocating for any unjust police violence. And that could be totally reasonable. But if you just say all lives matter, you can't then cry that, people think I'm racist. Yeah, no shit, people think you're fucking racist. Or even you can do the same with like white lives matter as well. Like, yeah, white people's lives matter, but that's not why people say it.
Yeah.
Do you know who Rashid Khalidi is?
I know who Rashid Khalidi is.
Good.
Yeah. Yes, he's a,
I like him. Cool guy.
Really. Do you think that he is wrong in using from the river to the sea? Like he's tweeted that out.
I think it's an unwise slogan.
Yeah.
I think it's a deeply unwise slogan.
I mean, it is tone policing. It is kind of like,
who cares?
You're
Vadim,
expecting, you're setting up
who
parameters.
Cares? Vadim, let's run with that. No, Vadim, stop. Let's run with that. It's tone policing. Who cares? Your camera's off, by the way.
I care because of the fact that I think that you're like you're talking about how these other people.
These are Twitch streamers, Vadim. These aren't people on the streets protesting. These are Twitch streamers at TwitchCon. Let's get some perspective here.
And there are some tones that you can't take when you've got a bunch of brands that sponsor the event plastered behind you. As has been Gold learned.
Well, wait, but what we're talking about from the river to the sea as a like, I thought we moved on to that.
Well, as an example, right? As an example, because what we're talking about is whether or not optics matters, or whether or not technically we should be making special allowances morally for people who are directly affected by things. And to be a little uncouth about it, which I agree with, but it doesn't matter. That doesn't make a political move, which the slogan is, a good decision.
There is no line that is going to be acceptable so long as people are speaking in defense of Palestine. People are going to be like misjudging them, calling them terrorists, calling them like, I'm sure you've gotten that a great deal. I mean, maybe if you weren't called terrorist, people have said like you love Hamas and shit like that. I'm sure you get that all the fucking time.
Yep.
And the reason why, and the reason why you get
it'd be a lot easier. You know, it'd be a lot easier. You know, it'd be a lot easier.
What?
if I didn't have to make arguments about like, hey, look, guys, not everybody who says from the river to the sea means that. By the way, what's your basis for thinking that? Oh, just the people I've talked to, because that's fundamentally all I have as a basis for this. I'm not pulling these people, neither are you.
Yeah, but I've seen
when you're saying this, it's like
I've seen tons of people online who have a huge problem with people just saying free Palestine.
Well, I've seen people, Vadim, I've seen people who will directly endorse what happened on October 7th as revolutionary action by an oppressed people, who will then go onto a panel and laugh it up with a whole bunch of other people as well. And I have no basis for saying that those other people don't endorse violent insurrection, or not even violent insurrection. Okay, see, there's an interesting debate about that. But violence against civilians with no discernible political achievement except to create the conditions of justifying a massive counterattack and massive destruction for civilians on both sides. Like, come on.
I think it's really sad. I think it's really sad that you think that your whole thing is about supposedly how these people are making you look bad, and these people are supposedly making
these people are making you look bad, Vadim. These people are making all of us look bad, you included, and including them, and including everyone who's friendly with them, and including people who defend them. Sam Cedar's going to take hits from defending this.
Sam Cedar losing advertisers? Didn't you lose a bunch of advertisers?
Like all the points that they've made, that Emma and he's made in relation to this are totally fucking sound, you know. So
it doesn't matter.
That's fine. Like they're willing. They're actually willing to take.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Vadim, the hits that they're taking are also hits to the credibility of the pro-Palestinian movement in the English-speaking world who is aware of them. That's what that means. Them taking a personal hit doesn't matter when we're talking about people who are standing as representatives at a very large scale of a political side in a very serious conflict.
Yeah, you are not like you think that they are doing a disservice to the conflict. No, they're like, that is like
as a general rule, no. But I think what it does point to is why don't you call in?
Because like I like. You know, I certainly am not going to sit here and go into something that to discuss.
Spit it out.
Their points, but you can easily call into the show, and I would like to see that, because
I don't have an issue with Sam Cedar and Sarah Vigland.
I'm not a formidable.
I don't have an issue with Sam Cedar and Emma Vigland. My issue is with people like Hassan, for example, making themselves into a burden for everybody else on their side.
Yeah, but
because try saying that, hang on, no, the pro-Palestinian side absolutely does not endorse October 7th, when you have very large people who are endorsed by very large people like Hassan essentially saying that.
Have you
at
watched
a larger scale, like at best.
Hey, for real, Vadim hitting one of these. Vadim hitting one of these on jaw.
Best you can say, well, we're the minority that doesn't, because unfortunately the loudest people are the ones who say that, and they're the loudest because of Twitch in this case of this particular audience.
Have you watched the any of the recent clips where they have talked loosely about him? I mean, I'm just wondering, kind of like,
they're not showing me more clips. We're calling it. We're calling it, dude. It's done. We're not doing any more this night. We're going for 3 hours.
But I just want to know, like what when you say that they are.
I saw the Twitter replies earlier. It doesn't matter. I'm sure they did a good job. I'm sure they had very reasonable takes. It doesn't matter, because this is what's actually going to reach people's ears. Hassan glazed a Houthi pirate terrorist guy, and was buddy with a whole bunch of people who are fine and glorified October 7th. And Sam Cedar defended him when Twitch was finally being held to account for that. That's what's going to pervade. And that is their fault.
Okay, well, they've spoken to that, and so what I'm saying is that like, you should call in and speak with them about it, because I'm myself really not a formidable debater, but they like.
Why would I call into them if they've got it doesn't matter. I'm sure their position was eminently reasonable.
Why is this all the Hamas? Sorry, I don't know if you supposed Hamas. Why is this what all these losers do? Why don't you go talk to Sam Cedar about it? Why don't you go to... No, I don't care what Sam Cedar says. Who give a fuck about Sam Cedar? The fuck Sam Cedar know about geopolitics? This guy, wasn't he a Simpsons writer? Sorry, why is Sam Cedar the gold standard here?
It doesn't matter because no, the reason why it matters is because I think, like, I am not myself. Obviously,
is it just he's a token Jew that doesn't like Israel? Is that it?
On a day like this, a very skilled debater or good at kind of getting the points that they would get across, but I think that if you conveyed that to them, they would tell you like exactly like they would.
Hang on, let's watch together, okay?
Which one are you?
Why not? Why not? We're
ask you this question.
I really don't.
Oh wait. Can you watch it on like on the majority report rather than through Hassan? I could get you a link to it if you want.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Wow, why don't you just how about you just watch the fucking clip and shut the fuck up, Vadim? Why are you dude, this guy is like the most interrupting, annoying loser in the fucking world. It's so annoying. He literally can't let the content progress. It's just interruptions all the fucking time. You know, we need to watch the original footage.
That's the one that popped up first.
It's just, you know, with his
but you know what the end of the conversation is going to be? Cool. They said something reasonable, or no, that was not a good idea. And either way, it doesn't matter.
All right. Well,
you don't understand how optics works. You don't understand how politics works. Like, unfortunately, at the end of the day, stuff being fair has no currency. Get over it. None. No currency at all. It doesn't matter. Excuse me, this is tone policing. You cannot exchange that at the bank for anything.
Yeah, this is why I was saying that this reminds me so much of when Black Lives Matter was more like back when Obama was chiding them and shit like that, because basically
Obama?
like.
And how's it going now?
Obama?
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, how did the BLM project go? How did defund the police go?
How's everything going right now, in your judgment?
What are you talking about by everything?
What legislative victories? What are the big legislative victories of the Black Lives Matter movement?
Vadim, I am sending you to bed now, okay? We'll talk later.
What were you talking about?
Go to bed, Vadim.
Do you mean like
sleepy time, Vadim.
I am
time for another 3 hours of hellish torture, Vadim.
Okay. Good night.
You asked.
3 hours of torturous screaming for you, Vadim. Jesus.